Good evening or good morning, race fans, wherever you're joining us from around the world. Welcome back to round 2 of the MC Motorsport MCV8 season. This is the Gold Split, coming to you tonight from Winton Motor Raceway, one of Australia's most historic tracks, and we are certainly in for a history-making night of racing tonight. On behalf of Simple Racing Broadcasts, I am your host, Jared Cole, and I am joined, as always, in the commentary booth by my esteemed co-commentator, Dean Biggles Hopton. Biggles, great to have you back. How are you, my friend?
Oh, it's exciting to be back, of course, again for round 2 now. So it's all going to be happening here. And happening here at the Winton Motor Raceway, which has its combination of long, fast straights and twisty and tight bends. It's also known as the Australia's Action Track. Dick Johnson once described this circuit like running a marathon around your clothesline.
I really wish I knew what he meant by that, honestly. He's come up with some crackers in his history, hasn't he? Good old DJ.
So, yeah.
Mate, good to be back for another night of racing here with you. And I tell you what, taking a look at the conditions for tonight's race, these drivers are in for an absolute slugfest. It's looking very, very hot. It's typical Australian summer racing, really, isn't it?
That it certainly is, and good conditions for racing. A little bit too hot for the drivers. We'll find out as they're making their way around the qualifying session. But yeah, what do you think about this track? Have you ever galloped your way around the clothesline here before?
Oh, look, from time to time, I have. I haven't actually been around it in a Gen 3 yet, would you believe? But have done a couple of races here at Winton, and yeah, it is certainly a challenging track, particularly the latter half of the track. Just a lot of very strange radius corners to try and make your way around it. Just that whole upper section you see on the track map there really is where a lot of drivers can come undone. And looking forward to, hopefully, not too much of that tonight, but the drivers up against it, these Gen 3s, lots and lots of power, of course, the big V8s, putting it all through the rear wheels. Track temps tonight, a scorching 59 degrees, 29-degree air temperature. It is hot out there today.
Fahrenheit or Celsius? That's Celsius,
no, that's
right?
Celsius. That is Celsius, my friend. Yeah, it is absolutely boiling out on track. And it's one of those times where sim racing definitely preferable to the real thing, because I don't know about you, Biggles, but I would not want to be on track with those sort of conditions.
No. 7 km/h winds is not too bad. We've seen some cycloptic winds before.
We absolutely have.
That's not too bad. Tyres will just absolutely melt on track currently at the moment. So as soon as they go out, they're going to be like, they'll drop off in the speed. They'll probably have a bit of traction coming around the corners, of course, because it's glued to it. But I think it won't unglue.
Look, I think tonight what we're going to see actually is a lot of just absolute sliding. There's not going to be any grip just because that temperature is so high.
Oh,
but we will check that out shortly. But before we get down to take a look at qualifying, let's have a look at the championship standings after round 1 and a Fishy Motorsports dominance in round 1. Really, Biggles?
Yeah, after you mentioned that top 3, look at that. Bingo, bingo, and bingo. Any points system looks great. So David, Jamie, and Ty all getting the job done there for the Fishy Motorsports team.
Absolutely, but keep an eye on some of those names right behind Aidan Cale from Vermilion Motorsports and Danny P, Antic Motorsports, tied for 4th. Aaron Gilbert ahead of Jackson Austin, then Thomas Wilson a little further back, and Luke Newing, Damon McDonald, and Henry King all sitting very close together as well. So anyone's in it. I mean, we're only one round in. It's still early days. There's still a drop round to consider, of course. So I think without further ado, we should probably go and check out some of this qualifying and see just how these drivers are getting on with track conditions being what they are right now. So let's go down to the track and see if we can take a bit of a look at what is happening. So we join them here at Winton Raceway. So we might kick off. Look, let's take a look. Josh McLaughlin just actually making his way around on his first lap, and some stonking times already tonight. A lot of drivers into the 123s despite the conditions. So yeah, there's a lot to play for tonight, Biggles. A lot of points on offer. Fishy Motorsports not holding the top 3 right now, I can tell you that much in terms of the qualifying times that we've seen. But take a look at that. Not a lot of separation, but actually probably a bit more separation than we saw last week, isn't it, Biggles?
Yeah, absolutely on that. I just wanted to touch on base on this at the moment. If we're starting to see some time. So 123, as you can currently see from Ben Faulkner, Well, you got a bit of catching up to do, mate, because Fabian Coulthard, who set the... Actually, no, it's Scott McLaughlin that set the new Supercars lap record with a time of 118.5. That's 2019, guys. Come on, it's a fair whack away.
118. That's a lot quicker than what we're seeing here.
118.5. So, and you're in these Gen 3 Supercars, mate. This guy's did that, the older ones, 2019.
Now, to be fair, we've seen that actually across... the Gen 3s definitely are slower than the Gen 2s around a track. And I think it's a combination of a little less aero and just a slightly more challenging chassis to work with. We've seen that across a lot of series, actually, where the Gen 3s are definitely slower. There's not a huge amount in it, but they are definitely slower than the Gen 2s. And particularly, out on top of that, these drivers still coming to grips with it, as we see Jamie Dyke just pulling off the road there. Let's take a look at his teammate Ty Delaney, currently sitting second, only 25 hundredths behind Ben Faulkner's time, so we'll see what he's got up his sleeve as he makes his way around on another lap. But all of these drivers doing their absolute best and really struggling for consistency from what we're seeing in the
it could be the track temperature as well too, because that Supercars event, I'm sure they weren't running it at 59 degrees Celsius track temperature at that time, as we're about just over 2/3 of the way through the qualifying. And here he is coming around the final two turns here, two little right-handers, almost similar to Bathurst, but in the opposite direction. And there we go. Let's have a look at the time on the board there for Ty.
Actually, he's out lap. There we go. I just realised he's on his out lap, so he's entering now into his live lap. Let's actually jump on board and see what we can see. Just how Winton does look from the driver's seat, because it's a challenging track. It's a little deceptive, in a lot of ways. It doesn't look like it should be challenging, but there's just so many changes in camber. Some of the mid-corner, it's very, very bumpy as we see him getting all sorts of loose air. So Ty Delaney, not no toes, around.
Drive it back tight. No, it's not a simulator. You can't do that in a simulator anyway. He's got time to go back. Otherwise, they would have not had a chance to put another lap in. So at least it's a bit fair for fun. I mean, real world too, you'd probably have an hour qualifying as well too. You wouldn't have just a 15-minute sprint.
We'll allow it.
Tyson's out there, Cram's out there. Let's go Danny P. Let's go Dan. So we got Dan fans out there.
Absolutely. There's always Danny P fans in the chat. Can always rely on that. So always good to have you back, guys. And looking forward to seeing what we get out of the Antic guys tonight. But plenty of racing to go ahead of you this evening. We've got 75Ks and 150Ks. Race 1 and Race 2 is the setup for this season, apart from the endurance events, of course. And tonight, give you an idea of just how short the laps are here at Winton. 25 laps in Race 1 and 50 laps Race 2. As we get a little bit of Reese Wakefield love in the chat as well from the Llama. Welcome on in, my friend. Reese Wakefield, of course, from MC Motorsports, just in the pits at the moment. But he's sitting up there, 7th place at the moment. Only a half second back from Ben Faulkner's top time right now.
Do you know what I'd like iRacing to add in the future, or allow the ability to have
tell me about it.
I want a fan boost. All right. I know that they've had this before in Formula E and stuff like that, but let's just say for a lap, you can give a driver a couple extra kilowatts or something like that, 10 kilowatts or something like that for a lap, if they win the fan boost vote out there in the audience. Or, how's this? You also do it in role reverse. If the fans can also go, rather than giving the boost to who they're supporting, they could give a negative boost to the driver that they want to fight against or something like that. So, for example, if it's Ben leading this race at the moment, at one lap, Ben has to go 10 kilowatts slower or something like that, or for one lap because of the fan boost is enabled, and they said, hey, we're going to slow you down, Ben. There you go. Add that
I don't know where to start with that, honestly.
Yeah, let us know your opinions out there in the audience. I just think sometimes, because we've got the audience in that. This is interactive motorsports. It's not like kind of television where, they're trying to make it interactive, of course, on TV, but...
Of course.
I don't know. Any ideas, just floating an idea around something like that, where the fans can somehow be interactive with the race. Just slightly change it up a little bit, not overall completely dynamically change it.
Thomas Wilson comes around at 1:25.1 on that one, so not bettering his time, but a little bit overrun there. Hey, I was checking out just the makeup of this. Just the makeup of this field. Considering the Gen 3s are identical in terms of chassis power, etc., the only difference is the look of them. it's really interesting to see a field still dominated by Fords. I honestly expected a few more Chevys amongst it.
Yeah, well,
So we see Troy Maguire struggling to keep it on track there. That turn 1 is going to be really, really tough to pull it up on.
Tyres come around the final couple of corners at the moment. It's at the fastest sector 2. There's 4 sectors overall in this track. So if he can hook this one up here, he's stolen away. 123.2 in the dial there.
There you go. So just 6 1,000ths ahead of Ben. What a cracking lap from Ty Delaney. Absolutely awesome. Jamie Dyke's still out there having another crack at it. We've got just a minute or so left, so he's going to have to get a move on if he does want to make it around. But he is, at the moment, on a better lap than his previous. However, not any purple sectors so far. So we'll see what he can deliver. He's got about 30 seconds to run in this lap and less than a minute now to go. So he should make it home on this one, barring any commentator curses I've just put on him. Bit of a slower third sector. So that's not going to be great for him, but let's see if he can improve his position from P5 and make his way up. Just, a big slide in the background there. Yeah. Another of the fishy entries. Just trying to figure out whose that was. It looked like it might have been. So we wait for Jamie's time across the line.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
123.5 confirmed. So that moves him up to P3. Big jump. Well done.
About 8 or 9 fishy entries, so there's a good chance that increasing
tonight.
Yeah, and then the Jinx shifters, and then we've got the Antique Motorsports, as you mentioned, so that's good for that. And the Vermilion Motorsports racing team, isn't it? Vermilion?
Yeah.
And
we've got
HT, FCR, Team Jinx shifters, and I think that's about it. We've got SES Sports. FCR Sim Sports. Laughing Stock Co-Racing. I think that's just Jeremy Washington by himself. Maybe it's somebody else that's supporting.
It is, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
As we take a look at the grid. So this is how it's wound up after qualifying here for race 1 of the Gold Split MCV8 Season 1. Well underway, round 2 from Winton Raceway. Ty Delaney sneaking home by 6 1,000ths ahead of Ben Faulkner. Will take the front spot. And the front row filled out by 2 very, very fast drivers indeed. Jamie Dyke improving his position late to wind up in 3rd alongside Blake Delaney. Then David Coleman and Troy Maguire behind them ahead of Aaron Gilbert and Danny P in 8th. Reese Wakefield and Luke Newing rounding out the top 10. Remembering, of course, a reverse top 10 for race 2. 11 and 12 held by Jeremy Washington and Robbie Bradbury. So a few of the fan favourites showing up in there. Always good to see. Alex Wilson and David Kirby behind them, then Thomas Wilson and Josh McLaughlin, Dean Powell and Ryan Smith ahead of Nicholas Garriosh and Dylan Thomas. Damon McDonald and Joshua Benno further back in the grid, with Orlando Black and Mitch Curry behind them, taking 23rd and 24th on the grid. And the grid filled out tonight by Josh Harris and Henry King, Ollie Stevens and Billy Joe Sinclair, then Brad Cooper and Nathan Bowman starting from the back of the field for this evening's racing. 25 laps around here. It's going to be really tough, Biggles.
We have race control as well. That will maybe pop some messages up there. Otherwise, we will relay the race control. Keep an eye on. And all the spot the Aussies, because there's 31 Aussies on, 30 currently at the moment on the grid. A few more loading in, 31. Yep. Where's the Kiwis? Where's the Poms? Where's the Americans? It's
You've got
the
to
MC Motorsport's it's not the Australian MC Motorsport, although we'll see.
There's a few around. There's a few.
There is. It should be lining up at the moment. I think we've got everybody's getting
the lights come up. Stevens. We're about to get underway.
Yep.
Oh, and a really slow start from Ben Faulkner. I don't think he was ready for that one. That's going to cause some havoc on the grid as well, as everyone starts to back up behind him. Down into turn 1 they come. Can they all make it through in one piece? Contact there. Ben Faulkner makes contact. Reese Wakefield is around.
Oh.
So far, so good. How?
Yeah, Reese got contact into Ben as well, too, because the slow-moving Ben didn't get away there, Ben Faulkner. Definitely was struggling there. A couple of drivers were trying to get past. A little bit of door banging and a curse, and unfortunately, Reese went around with the Reese fans out there.
Trying to just storm through turn 3 wide. It's not going to happen, boys. They start to single file now as they realise there's just not enough room here at Winton for those sort of antics. I'm going to just throw in as many of the team names tonight as I can, Biggles. That's the challenge. As we.
Oh wow! I just saw somebody completely got. Steering wheel must have snapped.
Is that Who was that that's just had that moment?
Dylan Thomas.
Was that Dylan Thomas?
Yeah, you might have to go back a little bit. He's actually almost lucky this tyre barrier is around the little Marshall's little undercover thing there, because he just went straight into it at high impact speed, and he stopped on the track there. He's completely, I don't know if it's going to bring out a caution.
Big contact as well. That's one of the ADHD entries. Further back in the pack, that's Josh Harris coming together with, it looked like Nicholas Garriosh from Frog Leap. So not the start some of these guys would have wanted for round 2. And
Josh has gone around.
Goes sideways. That's Josh McLaughlin, who's ended up sideways, just coming out of that last corner. Not the start they would have hoped for. Surprisingly, no safety car just yet.
I saw that during the practice session. A lot of drivers were struggling out of the final turn.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough. It's so hot out on track. The grip just is not going to be there tonight. This is only lap 2, and already we've got some real dramas for a few of these drivers, as of course Dylan gets his toe back to the pits. They start to sort themselves out here. Let's go back and see if we can catch what exactly happened to Dylan Thomas.
Yeah, this one. If you got small children in the room, you might want to look away on this one, because
has there been contact or just a little bit of a nudge there from King, and that sent him straight into the marshal's post. Big contact. Big contact. That car is going to require a lot of repairs.
He almost missed the complete tyre barrier part, because on the backside of there, they didn't bother to put any tyres around the marshal's box there, which I was quite surprised. And they probably don't expect accidents to happen too often there, but they do. And Ty just goes across the line, sets the fastest lap, and he now he's trying to shake that 1 second gap over Jamie Dyke. Another crash as well, too. It looks like Josh McLaughlin has gone around somewhere.
A couple more as well. Yeah. Let's catch up with the happenings from that first lap, because there was just a huge amount going on. We'll take a look at Garriosh and Harris coming together early on. Drive-through penalty there coming through from race control. For car number 52, that's Henry King. Of course, we saw putting Dylan Thomas into that marshal post, so he'll be following through with a drive-through penalty, which is unfortunate for him because he's up 6 spots in P20 right now. That won't last long. Taking a look at this now, though,
Josh just said a drive-through penalty. Go ahead.
Coming together, just not enough room for both of them, into the side of Harris, and then taps him again.
He tries to turn him around. He's probably like, okay, mate, you're spinning, so let me try to punch you back in the right direction. And I did honestly look like that to me, because he slowed too.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
You notice that? Once he got back up, pointed the right direction, I think that was a sign of a little bit, all right, mate, let me, I'll pick you up.
Yeah, look,
we're not going to fall down together. Not here at MC Motorsport. We do like
to see that, though. MC Motorsport always encouraging redress ahead of anything else, as we see the Fishy Motorsports entries starting to make their presence felt. P1, P2, P3, all Fishy. Then of course Gilbert, Gilbert in fourth.
Damon McDonald. He goes off into the pit lane. Sorry to cut you off there, Jared. A few drivers. Henry King goes off into the pit lane, but Henry King has to serve a drive-through. Yep. But what about Damon McDonald?
So Damon had a crash,
in the pit road.
So he's gone in for that. Let's take a look at a couple of these other incidents that have happened along the way, because Josh McLaughlin had an incident earlier on. Heavy under brakes. Does he take out Ryan Smith, or is he just... No, Smith gets out of the way. And I think he's just unsettled the car enough. This is, of course, coming to the pit entry. Gets the tyres out on the dirt, under brakes, and that's going to put you sideways very, very easily. So this is the one we saw, and nowhere to go for Josh Benno, just straight into that front quarter. Unlucky for Josh Benno to get caught up in that.
Yeah, Benny just got an overtake there done on Troy McGrath, so you want to have a look at that one. That was putting your nose in there and almost getting it chopped off with a plastic surgeon. Talk to the Cardassians about that, but that was quite a good little overtake, I would have thought, there from Ben Faulkner.
Let's go back and take a quick look at that.
Ben Faulkner things, a.k.a. moving his way up to the front. And he has to from his, look at this, straight on the gas, sneaks it up the inside, says, Bob, thank you very much. Lick the stamp and send it. Yeah, and that was the man, of course, to put it on pole, finding his way back after, well, not on pole, but on the front row and finding his way back up. Nicholas has had a little bit of a moment too, my friend.
He has. He's gone around again. It's all happening here. We can't look away for just a second. As soon as we do, we miss something like this. And that's the same corner he went into Harris the first time. Just, unlucky,
no, he got
actually.
tagged. Yeah,
Gets tagged by, was that Billy J. Sinclair, the 777 entry?
Harris, maybe?
No, that was Billy J in the Subway entry. So
yes, sir.
That puts Garrioch even further back in the field. A lot of recovery work to do. Meanwhile, Delaney and Dyke just absolutely stepping away from the rest of the pack. It doesn't look like much here, but you'll see the gap as they start to get onto the straights. A huge distance to the rest of the pack so early on in such a short course. Only 5 laps in, but these guys just very, very comfortable with the temperatures on track here tonight, I think.
Jamie's managing to pull back in Ty, so he's not letting Ty get too far down the road. Delaney there for the Fishy 1-2 Motorsports there. I don't think they're going to play 6 to 1, half a dozen to the other between them, and maybe allow David Coleman to come in and play. Now, not so much on the first heat race. You'd expect maybe on the feature races they might.
I have never seen team orders come into any of these races. It's not how these guys operate.
I'm bringing the team orders in. They do hand signals, stuff like Michael Schumacher had to do with the camera one time to his team. Oh, yeah.
Charges past Aaron Gilbert. And Faulkner looking to make the move. Now, keep an eye in the background. Maguire and Delaney here going at it behind Gilbert as well. So a couple of the Fishies boys just having words, so to speak, as they try and make their way through. Gilbert's got to be careful here because there's a lot of pressure on him in that Jinx Shifters entry. The Fishy cars just everywhere tonight, but honestly, amazing liveries. Got to love the work they put into them. They look fantastic.
And Reese Wakefield's had a little moment as well. Front end is missing off the 969 machine and limping its way into pit road for Reese.
Let's go back and take a quick look at that. Where's Reese lost this? Oh, that's not looking good at all. Just dragging that front left as he tries to get it back into the pits. So a big moment for him. We'll see if we can catch where that's happened without missing too much of this.
Come off track on a little bit earlier. At 8 minutes and 42 seconds into this race.
So here it is. Reese Wakefield makes the pass on Benno, goes very wide. Oh, he's gone straight into the tyre wall.
It's a hard lick, yeah.
Yeah, that's done some damage there.
That
leaves the bumper behind as he backs it out. And have a look at that front left wheel. That is not connected the way it should be, I can tell you that much. Suspension damage for sure. And how he's managed to drive that back around to the pits, I have no idea. It's a long way from there. That's barely into the lap.
Yeah, exactly. And because I've got not allowing any towing rules, you got to drive it back.
Yeah, got to drive it back, exactly. Ollie Stevens gives up the spot to Orlando Black from Vermilion Motorsports. But
now we'll have to talk to Ben Faulkner about practicing your race starts. I never see drive. Now, when we were in the practice session before, did you ever see any drivers doing a practice start?
I don't believe I caught any. They're a tough car to get off the line. They really are.
Oh, don't make excuses for the drivers. No, you've got to practice it.
This is the thing, right? You can get them off the line really slowly, but you risk giving up a lot of time. The proper way, of course, is using the line locker to really get the clutch just to the bite point and ready to launch. But it's so easy to overdo it. Or to just not get it moving at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't see anybody practicing it, which is something that you got to do in these conditions as well too. Remember, we know that track temperatures, sometimes you've probably been doing this in a practice session earlier and you're not up around these temperatures that we were referring to, and that just changes the whole ball game as well too for your tires. We're at 56 degrees Celsius currently right now, track temperature.
So what we're watching here, the battle for ninth, Jeremy Washington, the laughingstock car racing entry with the clowns all over his Mustang, looking to hold Alex Wilson and Luke Ewing at bay. So they're certainly threatening, and it's a tough one to try and figure out how much of this is these guys taking it easy and how much is it just is them struggling with the track conditions. They're managing to keep it reasonably straight. We're not seeing a lot of movement from the cars themselves, but all the same, not not sort of the pace I might have been expecting from this. Or there, say no more. Wilson putting it very sideways on the exit. And then hard under brakes as we go round again. So far, so good. But yeah, I don't know. We've got a lot of issues going on. Nathan Bowman's had an incident in the background as well, so that's not going to do well for him.
Yeah, and you won't miss Nathan's car as well too. It's bright. Well, it's matte white with not a single livery. Or he's struggling under pressure right now there from Nicholas too, and from the juice machine. Oh, well, here it is. So his rear end's getting loosey-goosey. That just occurred live. And he's going to lift off and allow those drivers through. It might have had to slow down, but there's the lockup, just you can see there.
On the brakes and then trying to get it straightened back up. So thankfully no damage.
I love how he just got no paints whatsoever on that car. It's a little lighter.
Yeah, it's something that Bowman does in everything, actually. We saw him in the GT3 series as Wilson runs wide and gives the position to Newing. They swap back and forth. Bit of contact. You see the sparks flying. That's pushing Newing out wide. He's managed to hold together and just regained his position behind. Didn't take advantage of Wilson's mistake as much as he probably would have liked to. Nathan Bowman, a real thing for the white paints. He's done it in GT3 as well. You've seen him run all white there. Ewing looks for a way around the outside. Wilson just keeping the pressure on.
All Vanta black. The Vanta black, you know, that carbon black.
Absolutely no light escapes that paint.
It looks like you're looking at a black hole. That's his car on the track there. And it's been great at nighttime racing as well too, without and have the headlights off. But anyway, it's good to see some creativity. Of course, a lot of drivers have some good creativity. Monte Crisso's out there, certainly more action than last week. Good thing too. He doesn't want to see Winton here on the calendar.
He doesn't want to see Winton off the calendar.
Off the calendar. Oh, yep. Sorry, read all this.
Monte Cristo back again, keeping us alive with the puns. Always appreciated, my friend, and welcome back to the broadcast. As we
it's not on V8 Supercars anymore, but is it? Unfortunately, they stopped it a couple of years ago.
No, it's been a little while. Let's jump back up the front and keep an eye on these fishies, guys, because Delaney, Jamie Dyke's just happy to tuck in behind him at the moment. He's got the pace. These guys very, very evenly matched. So Ty Delaney's best lap so far at 24 flat. And Jamie Dyke at 24.01. So super evenly matched. I suspect probably running the same setup. I imagine the team has shared the setup and it's working wonderfully for them under conditions. But Ty Delaney just really monstering it around out in front. And these guys showing what we alluded to earlier, no difference though in the performance, regardless of whether you choose the Chevy or the Ford. The underpinning's really much the same. But right now, Ty Delaney in front, Jamie Dyke just cruising around with him and opening up more and more of a gap. David Coleman now 3 seconds further back. And
big battle as well too. It's brewing between Dean Powell there and Luke Newing, and also Robbie Bradley was involved in that. That's a 3-car little hike you put. And there's a bit of door banging going on there too, mate. I'm telling you what, because we've seen
runs very wide.
Yep, straight into the kitty litter. Because you have to do a little bit of door, and of course get some OTs done. As David went into the kitty litter, as you saw just in the background there, that's the orange number 307 machine. But Dean Powell and Robbie Bradbury, they're exchanging Christmas cards early.
They are. Meanwhile, keep an eye back here on Mitch Curry. One, how good does that Fox livery look? Can't miss him on track now with the new paintwork this week. But he's
what does the Fox say, Mitch?
Dylan Thomas, another issue. Poor bloke got pushed into the marshal's post earlier, and he's come off track again. We'll go and just check that one out, make sure he's okay. The car repaired as best he can, but just gets it up on the dirt, and no, he's okay.
He's
just straight on in. Has he
lost it in the pit road entrance a little bit? Oh. It's a tough entrance. You see that when he hits the brakes, the whole front end just goes digging down into the ground there. It's there it is. So as you mentioned, Mitch Curry. Further up the action, I'd say P5, P6 is Blake, and Larry there is Mr. Blake is.
Big slide there from Delaney.
They've all been doing. They all did that during the practice session I was watching, isn't it? Just absolutely gassing it out of that final corner, mate, and then just the rear end's loosey-goosey, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Seems-
no other choice, honestly. But Delaney looking at trying to get past Aaron Gilbert. He's seen his teammates go past, so he's wanting to do the same, but costing them some time here. Ben Faulkner just starting to pull away up the road and gain ground on Coleman. Gilbert, meanwhile, quite content, just hanging on in for 5th. And I think we've seen Delaney Maguire stuck behind him for a few laps as Delaney takes a big look up the inside. Can't get it round in time. He's threatening, though. Definitely threatening.
So remember, it's 25 laps. 25 litres, 30.
25 laps for race 1.
25 laps for race 1, exactly. So we're about just getting on halfway through this one. Be very interesting as
very
Blake
close
gives
to contact there.
A little bump draft there to Aaron Gilbert up the road and says, hey, I'm here, mate, to the team Jinx Shifters. And Blake's like, I'm from the Fishing Motorsport. So that's where we've got P1, P2, and P3 currently at the moment. So I want P5. With Ben the only one breaking up the Fishy team. And, of course, Aaron Gilbert, that's just ahead of Blake. There's new pictures right now. That's the Wilson's machine.
So Bradbury and Powell, you might have seen that message from Race Control just there, ordered to redress the position. So
I didn't see that. So can you repeat that one? Was it?
So Race Control redress for 93 with number 35. So Bradbury and Dean Powell.
Oh, Bradbury's up in P12 now. There's Thomas Wilson in between them, and Dean, the 93, he's in 14th. So what are they going to do? What's Thomas going to do in the middle there?
Good question. I can't look away though right now. Blake Delaney giving Aaron Gilbert all sorts of pressure. There he goes. He looked at the move last lap. He's going to make it stick there. Forces his way through. Gilbert tries to close the door, but far too late. Delaney already through. And now let's see how he goes with pulling away after being stuck behind Aaron Gilbert for so long. Let's see if he's got some extra pace now that he's got clean air in front of him. And, of course, Troy Maguire just behind the other Fishing Motorsports entry, the 163 in maroon. Will probably be looking to do much the same here. Gilbert's going to have to watch for the same move on the next lap.
Tell you another thing, Joe, to keep your eyes peeled for. Ben Faulkner. We know he's super quick, and we know he's super fast, and we know that he started on the front row and regretting bogging down a little bit. He's now catching David Coleman in P3. So he wants to spoil this fishy party. Alex Wilson's had a little bit of a moment, but he's been putting some bankers in, mate. So he's been doing 25 fours, 25 threes. The leaders are doing 25 threes, 25 twos, but he put a couple of good bankers in before that. So I wouldn't expect that we don't have him on the tailpipe of David Coleman very soon.
Yeah, I've been watching it though. He hasn't cut that gap down a whole lot over the last few laps. So something to keep an eye on. Faulkner maybe just struggling a little bit with his setup. The Fishies guys got it pretty well sorted by the look of things. Now we'll take a look further back.
Alex Wilson had to lift off big time because he went off in the key litter before, so he's trying to struggle for traction. There's a whole bunch of cars there. David Kirby, D. Powell, Robbie. I think that's a bit of that lifting situation was occurring from Race Control, wasn't it? Because now Robert Bradbury there's with Dean Powell.
Yeah, not quite sure from Race Control whether they were being told to redress or if they had already redressed. But certainly the battle's still continuing. This is, of course, back in the battle for 12th with Bradbury, for the moment, leading this pack of 5 as we make our way through the S's here at Winton.
Mitch Curry's got side-by-side with Ryan Smith as well, too, to the boss man's under attack from Ryan. He's just got his nose ahead. And he says, what does the fox say? To Ryan Smith. I'm going to keep that up all night now. That's up to you, then, Mitch. You did it.
Yeah, it's all on Mitch Curry tonight. Meanwhile, up ahead, take a look at Jamie Dyke again. Just he's ever so slowly reeling Ty Delaney in. There's not much in it. But as these guys make their way through lapped traffic now...
Yeah, that's not Coleman. That traffic will come in a big play. I was about to say, Coleman wasn't that quick.
No, that is the FCR Motorsports entry of Josh McLaughlin in the background, I believe. So, yeah, not what he would be hoping for to be getting lapped. But again, it is only a very short lap, a couple of incidents, and you're going to find yourself getting caught by the leaders very quickly. But as lap traffic starts to get introduced to the equation, this is going to just ratchet up the difficulty for some of these guys making the pass. Take a look here at Ryan Smith putting the pressure on Mitch Curry once again, though. He's got the inside line. Curry finds himself out wide. He's going to have the inside for this turn, though. Good defensive positioning from Curry. So we see Josh Benno taking advantage there of Smith's error. And Ryan Smith, from battling Mitch Curry, actually takes a step back and finds himself down in 18th now.
Very interesting. Good battle. Still the battle brewing at the front there. But, however, I'm just going to keep my eye on Damon McDonald would be the next up on the hit list to get the OT done. That's the 59 about to be lapped up soon. Damon McDonald's last laps were 26.7s. Ty in the lead of this race is doing a 25.64. So they will catch the number 59 machine. Yeah, give or take if you do the math on that one, of course. They're doing about 2 seconds lap quicker.
Jeremy Washington now under significant pressure from Luke Newing.
There he is, Jerry Washington. Yeah, JW. I haven't seen it in a race, but he's there.
No, he's getting around. You got to look out for the clowns, mate. But Newing has been all over the back of him for a little while now, so plenty of opportunity for Newing to just continue the pressure on Washington as he goes just a little wider than he probably meant to there. Newing takes the shorter line, starts to close the gap even further. Problem is, you've got to really set up for these couple of passing moves 2 or 3 corners back, and if you don't have it just right, then you're stuck behind them again for another lap. Meanwhile, you might be able to see in the background is the battle pack.
There, mate. I'm keeping my eye on that one going. I'm not cutting you off because there's multiple battles going on and everybody gets their fair share of simple racing cameras as Alex Wilson goes off into the marbles for the Full Send Motorsports. Try to keep it. No grip, no traction out there. That's like ice skating at the moment. I mean, Talladega apparently is under snow, and that's in the state of Georgia. So, I mean, wow. I mean, it must feel like it's in Dega right now.
Honestly. But these three now continue the battle with Alex Wilson just falling off a little. And, of course, you've got the Antic Motorsports entry of Reese Wakefield just taking a bit of a ride in the slipstream there, trying to get back onto the lead lap, probably praying for a safety car at the moment. And Josh Benno and Mitch Curry continuing to battle it out here for P16. Benno just keeps coming back at him. So Curry's...
Thank all 22 of you. Sorry, cut you off there, boss man. 22 of you watching out there. Thank you very much. We're 93 subscribers. It'd be fantastic if we hit 100 by the end of tonight. So you make sure you do
Curry,
hit
big
that.
Mistake off into the kitty litter. That lets Josh Benno through. And Mitch Curry gets it back on track, but he's going to have to defend hard here to keep Ryan Smith from taking another spot off him.
It's got to shake all the bits and pieces that off when you go on the runoff area, isn't it? And try to get the temperature back into it. Josh Bernard is going to has to put some pressure on immediately.
Oh, Mitch Curry.
Ryan Smith, I mean.
Can't pull it up. And Smith goes through. Curry's
still
back
got
on the
position.
Inside this corner. Oh, bit of contact there. Looked net code-ish, perhaps.
No, there's no such thing as that.
We call it as we see it here. Side by side. Mitch Curry trying desperately to get the power down. Those rear tyres, I think, just absolutely cooked at the moment.
He's got to cool him down. He's got to cool him down.
As we say that, just ahead, Ryan Smith has a big moment into the corner, slides it through. And that's given Curry the opportunity to get back onto the draft. What can he do around the outside here? Gets caught out in the marbles, though.
He's got no traction. He's got to cool those tyres down. They're absolutely baked, mate. These track temperatures are baked. He's trying to, gas it and give it everything he's got. But unfortunately, the car's not yielding. The tyres are just giving up. He's got a big gap there to Josh Harris, about 11 seconds down the road. So if I was him, I'd just cool those tyres down a little bit, still keep Ryan Smith at bay, and then apply some little bit of pressure a little bit later on. He's still got a bit of time to go, but yeah, you're going to be off. More importantly, be off the track if he doesn't calm it down a little bit.
Absolutely. Here we look a little further ahead. This is Coleman and Faulkner now. Faulkner looking for a way through. He's got the inside line into this turn.
I told you, mate. There
Coleman's
it is. Job done.
And there it is. Ben Faulkner goes through into P3 and he'll
like Coleman
let him. I don't know.
I
think he just braked a little bit late there. I just don't think he could pull it up in time.
Have a look at the leaders too at the moment too, because every single time Dyke comes out of the corner gassing it, he's the only one that's almost sideways. But we have traffic up the road here. It's going to be interesting. What is going to happen is Billy Way Sinclair, that'll be him there in the subway machine. Is he going to completely get out of the way? He has done the right thing. Good on you.
Probably the good call, honestly, at the pace
allowed the leaders to go through. Ben Falkland's just in the background there. Will he also do the same for Ben? has Ben got enough time to catch these two? I don't think so.
4 seconds out of 6 laps. That's a big ask.
When's Jamie going to pull the mover that he's been studying Ty for the better part of this whole race? And at this point, he knows if he wants to get the job done, he knows. He should know Ty's weakness by now, because he's just, as I said, he's been in his shadows for give or take 20 laps.
I don't know if Dyke's got the pace, honestly. Like, keeping an eye on that interval between them, he's got the pace onto the main straight, definitely gets the better exit every single lap, pulls it back to 3/10, and then all of a sudden Delaney just starts to walk it away through the corners. Delaney's got this absolutely dialed tonight.
They need this traffic up the road to come into play for somebody. Problem is, they're both teammates, right? Fishy Motorsport, so...
Oh, you don't want to
if you are another
well.
team, you're not really going to... If you're going to do it, you're going to... You know, it doesn't really hurt. You're hurting both the Fishy Motorsports teams. Unless you want to be out there for Ben Faulkner, and help Ben out there and bring these two into Ben's clutches. But is there enough time for that?
Yeah, the gaps are widened up even further. I don't know if Ben got caught in some traffic there, but he's out to 4.3 now. I can't see him pulling that back, so really he's just got to hang in there and take P3.
I hope these two come together, mate, as well.
Yeah,
you know,
that's pretty well it.
These two tag each other and start playing sandcastles. Benny's got the win.
This is the battle back for P19. Josh Harris trying to hold off Orlando Black and Ollie Stevens. He's had these guys absolutely hassling him for a little while now. And Orlando Black in particular, just diving side to side behind Harris, looking for a way through. Harris playing a very, very defensive game here to try and retain his position. But I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to hold it off. Orlando Black looking for the move. Josh Harris again shuts the door on him. These guys just, they're stuck. They're stuck at the moment. Trying to find a pass on a track this hot is really, really difficult. There's just not the grip to try some of those alternative lines through the corners that would ordinarily get you the sort of traction and the sort of momentum that you need to make some of these passes stick. Tonight, they just don't have any of it available to them.
You got to give it a fully send at some point, commit to it. Jamie might be doing that soon. He's getting really, really close to Tyre. That's the lead of the race there. They just got past Nathan Ballman there in the white 53 machine.
Jamie Dyke looking at a move now.
Yeah, this is probably the closest. This is one of the closest it's been. At some point, he's going to have to just
the lights flashing.
Commit.
He wants
and
through.
Then send. Yeah, but Ty doesn't have to give it up, mate. It's a battle for position on the track. There's no team orders as far as we know. Just gas it, gas it, gas it. We got some chat out there saying, well, this race is twice as long as last week. The next lap is 50 laps. It would be brutal, absolutely. It's almost like a mini endurance race, but hey.
Cram's got it absolutely right, though. It is about distance. So we are aiming at 75 Ks for race 1 and 150 Ks for race 2 every single week, with the exception of the endurance rounds. So the number of laps is adjusted based on the track length every single week. And Winton,
Jamie's sizing him up, mate. Jamie's now throwing himself in all the mirrors of Ty's car, and so he's trying everything he can to get him all loosey-goosey and see if he makes a mistake so Jamie can pounce on it. But I don't know. Ty's has been managing this pressure quite well so far. We're talking about Jamie's been up his tailpipe for the better part of this whole race, so it's not like Ty's just got this pressure new. So
no, Ty is very, very comfortable out in front. He's holding Jamie Dyke at bay. You know, Dyke's had plenty of opportunities to throw one up the inside, but I don't think I'd be game to either in these sort of conditions. Big shout out to Meg Curry dropping by. Good to have you back in the chat room once again, Meg. Always a pleasure to have you dropping on in to support the man himself, Mitch Curry. As we watch Dyke again, he just can't get the pace that he needs to get alongside. They're really, really tough.
He's got to use the lap car, but he gets out of the way. And that one, Brad Cooper does the right thing. Says, I'm not going to be sent to the sin bin for being a naughty boy, blocking our two race leaders going for gold here.
Absolutely not. Take a look back. We've got a little battle pack still going on behind Josh Harris. Now, while we've been away from this, Nicholas Garrioch has made his way past Orlando Black. So big move from him there. And then that Henry King that's tacked onto the back as well. Is that one of our lapped cars, perhaps? In any case, Ollie Stevens has had a moment and has come off track. That's just left him off the back of this group. And so now, Josh Harris, instead of holding off Orlando Black, is faced with Nicholas Garrioch, that frog leap juiced entry, filling his mirrors as they make their way down the straight once again. Coming on to the last few laps in race number 1. And I don't know about you, Biggles, but big lock-up moment from Gariosh. He's pushing hard to try and make up this extra position. And here he goes, the big dive. Yep. Harris leaves the door wide open. Can Gariosh get it pulled up? He's going for the switchback. Can Harris make it work? Not quite enough power there, so he'll settle in and look for another opportunity. Josh Harris, after defending for so long, has finally given up P19. That's taken a long time for these guys to break through. He's been playing a fantastic game of defense.
Dean Powell, Robert. Oh, Dean's into the kitty litter. So the Black Hawk Motorsports number 93 machine will drop it to him and Robbie Bradbury have been at it tooth and nail, mate, on practically the whole race. And unfortunately this time around there, round 2 in that little boxing match has turned out to be in Robbie's favourite. So he'll return to his ring. And Jamie still in the lead here. Look at that, throwing his nose in every single time. Nothing he could do about Tull, just tie nose. Hey, I just put it here.
Oh,
little
big
contact
there. Big nudge in the back.
That's a little NASCAR love tap, mate.
Just a love tap to say, hey, time to get moving because I am faster through here now. Now, whether Dyke actually is or not, it's a whole other question. I mean, they're not losing time. They're actually gaining time on Ben Faulkner still. He was at 4 seconds about, 3-4 laps ago? And now at 4.4.
Ben's probably settled back at the moment. They're just going to bring it home, I think. Of course, the driver's going to try, but it's just a different... He realises time's not on his side here. And they should be at the penultimate lap now, if I'm not mistaken, as they cross the line. Here we go. This could be an attack. Miller weaving at the moment. So Tarl's also feeling that. But look at this battle you're looking at too, mate. And you keep the pictures on that. There's just so many battles of action going on.
There's so much going on, absolutely. Yeah. Jump back up front, but then have a look again back with Josh Harris. So Nicholas Gariosh has gotten through and starting to pull away, and Harris is back to defending from Black. The million entry just straight back on his tail. Doesn't give him a break for a moment. So we see Billy J. Sinclair went around just about half a lap ago, and that's thankfully he's not come together with anyone else. He's into the pits to try and get that repaired before next race, hopefully. We'll be on to the last lap as these guys come back around.
Getting you prepared, mate. I could hear him in the background.
So keep an eye now on Robbie Bradbury still holding off Alex Wilson and David Kirby. These guys have barely moved all race. Each of them just down a single spot after Dean Power, I think, got ahead of them. But each of them just down one spot from their starting position. Actually quite a few as we keep an eye on this. Jamie Dyke looking up the inside. Had a chance there. We're going to come around onto the last lap. We're going to stick with this one because this has been the battle going on for the last...
See the power put Jamie comes out? He loses the rear end. Usually it has been working for him. He's usually got up to the bumper of Ty by the end of here for sure and follow him through the S's, or as Dick Johnson would say, running around your clothesline in the backyard kind of thing. But where can he do it? It's going to have to come back to those final couple of corners, I think. It's an opportunity. That's going to be a late send. And let's see whether or not Jamie's going to be willing to risk it for the biscuit to get this race victory, or settle for P2, mate. That's going to be the key.
It's a big ask at this point. He's throwing everything he can at Ty Delaney right throughout this race. These guys have been at it really since the green flag. As Orlando Black's had a crash in the background as well, so that relieves the pressure on Josh Harris. But we'll stick with this one because Jamie Dyke is still threatening. A lot of smoke there.
Yep, this is it. So, lap traffic up the road there. I think this driver's going to completely get out of the way. A little bit of a mini straight here. Now you've got a king to your left coming up. I don't think it'll be an overtaken opportunity, especially with the traffic there. But now down this straightaway here, these cars can do anything. You got 1, 2 more corners here. He's going to have to send it right down the right-hand side as a dive.
It's taking him up the inside.
Too far back. So next one around, but the traffic up the road, everything, there's only a short little thing. There it is. Not going to be enough. Ty gets the job done. Bingo. Heat 1.
Just like that, Ty Delaney across the line. What a battle for these two. Both Fishy Motorsports entries. Just masterclass tonight. So that's only race 1 done. But yeah, race 2 yet to come. Ty Delaney with the win. Got to be happy with that.
Masterclass, absolutely masterclass drive, and that's driving without like a Sunday drive and your arm out the window there, and you're in the flip flops. That was with massive pressure from Jamie Dyke during that whole race. So
Yeah,
absolute
absolutely
GGs to Tyle Delaney. He put it on pole, mate, and he finished it. So he's got 1 out of 2 at the moment. He's got the pole position. He's got the first heat win. All he needs is the next one. He gets the trifecta. Well, he get the fastest lap to get the quadfecta. Quaddy.
Anything's possible, right? Anything's possible. Yeah. As we see Henry King, after coming together earlier with Orlando Black, these guys are going to battle it out all the way to the line. Probably the last of the finishes. Yeah, looking at a longer race, bit of quick maths going on in the chat. 1 minute 25, 50 laps, looking at about a 65 to 70 minute race number 2. It is going to be a longer one. These conditions not helping at all. Oh, Orlando Black gives a spot up late in the game, runs it wide, and Henry King says, thank you very much, I'll pick up one more as he gets on the power. A lot of damage on the front of that car, but he's going to be happy. Picks up an extra spot there compared to what he was probably expecting for quite a while.
And it wasn't strategic either, because if you're all P9 and P10, you might throw it away just so you can get pole position for the next race, but there you go.
There we go, indeed. So, race 1 is done, and let's take a look at the results. Ty Delaney just ahead of Jamie Dyke, then Ben Faulkner with David Coleman and Blake Delaney not so far off the mark either. Aaron Gilbert taking P6 ahead of Troy Maguire with Danny P in 8th, Luke Newing in 9th, and Thomas Wilson rounding out the top 10. So, a pole position for Thomas Wilson. Now, when you look at those finishing times, the front runners, Delaney, Dyke and Faulkner, and Coleman as well for that matter, going to have a huge amount of traffic to fight through because they've been clearly quicker than the next 6 entries most of the way through that race. They've absolutely got the pace there. So it's going to be tough for them to fight their way through, but they've got 50 laps to do it. Jeremy Washington in 11th, just missing out on that pole being handed to him for race number 2. And of course, Dean Powell, Robbie Bradbury and Alex Wilson, followed by David Kirby, Josh Benno, Mitch Curry back in 17th with Ryan Smith in 18th at the end of race number 1. Robbie Bradbury, Nicholas Garriosh in 19th, ahead of Josh Harris and Ollie Stevens. Henry King and Orlando Black, the last to finish on the lead lap, with Damon McDonald, Brad Cooper, Nathan Bowman, Josh McLaughlin, Reese Wakefield and Billy J. Sinclair all further back. An absolutely horror run for Dylan Thomas, multiple incidents in race 1, finds himself 6 laps down after all the repairs that needed doing, and certainly not his night tonight, Biggles.
No, but we'll have a chance to have a bit of a chin wagon with some of the drivers before we get ready for the big race.
So we're joined in the commentary booth by Ty Delaney. Ty, welcome to the comms booth. A fantastic win for you in race number 1.
Yeah, thank you, boys. It was quite a good race. Quite tough. Had my teammate right behind me the entire race, which didn't make it easy. But it was a really fun race.
A lot of pressure being put on you by Jamie Dyke right throughout, but both of you looking super composed. We saw barely any sideways action from any of the Fishy Motorsports entries tonight. You got a bit of a secret setup going on in the team? Is that what's happening?
We don't do too many good setups. But with this new car, it's quite hard. We've all had a big reset in setups, and so we all just tried to keep it straight. Not too much of the setup. We're all just trying to drive pretty medium and keep the tyres intact so we can race at the end.
And how tricky was that? The track conditions tonight, it's super hot out there. How do you find the tyres holding up there in race 1?
Yeah, they I didn't think they held up too bad the first 10 laps, but after that they were not the best. So I had to drive like I was on eggshells and take it quite slowly.
So what's the plan? A little bit of insight for us here. We've got a 50 lapper coming up. Probably going to get away with one stop. You're just aiming for the halfway point, or you've got another plan in mind for the tyres and pit strategy here?
I wish I could say, but I actually don't know. It depends on where you are in the track, how the boys in front of you, their pace-wise, what your tyres feel like. It all comes down to how you're feeling when the pit stop comes around.
There you go, and maybe a question you can answer. Jeremy Washington, from back in P11 just popping into the chat to ask anyone know where I can find 5/10 a lap out on track. Where did you find it tonight? Because you and Jamie were in a whole other league out there in front all night. Which part of this track is really gelling for you?
I like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 and 4. The rest of it's not the best, but I really like this first section. It's quite fun to drive and quite flowing.
There you go. Well, Ty, congratulations again on the win in race 1. Got about a minute till you need to get back in the car again for race number 2. So best of luck fighting through the traffic from back in P10. We'll be keeping an eye on your progress through 50 laps of hot and just ridiculous weather, honestly, in Winton. Best of luck, mate.
Thank you. Have fun.
Ty Delaney there, your winner for race number 1. And Biggles, honestly, he sounded pretty calm, cool and collected. Be interesting to see what race 2 brings, hey? Oh, Biggles? Have I lost you, Biggles? You have. We've lost Biggles. I don't know what's happened to him, but we'll try and get him back in time for the next race. We are just about ready to get underway with race number 2 as we wait for the drivers to make their way to the grid. Of course, the grid looking a little different here for race 2 as the top 10 do reverse before we take on 50 laps, 150 k's of Winton. And the conditions have not been great for these drivers so far, and we'll have to wait and see just what they can do with the temps ahead of them. Bit of cloud cover here, so we'll check the weather in just a moment. Thomas Wilson and Luke Ewing, as we said, up front with Danny P and Troy Maguire behind. Aaron Gilbert, then Blake Delaney, David Coleman, then Ben Faulkner. Jamie Dyke and Ty Delaney rounding out the top 10 as we head down to the grid to make sure we don't miss a moment of the action. The drivers starting to get back on track, and we'll wait for them all to load on in. Let's take a quick look at the weather conditions right now. So wind's starting to pick up a bit, but the track temp's down significantly, 48 degrees track temp now from the 60 that we started with. So hopefully a bit of a kinder time for the tyres, and maybe even just a little bit of a better run for these drivers as they make their way around the track. So bit of an afternoon cool off for these guys as we get ready to go racing here in race number 2. The lights come up, as do the revs.
Green.
And we are away. A fantastic start for Ewing and Wilson, both getting off the line very, very cleanly. Welcome back, Biggles. We lost you there for a moment, and I'm glad to have you back again, because I did want you to miss a fantastic start race 2. That's David Coleman immediately off. Just havoc everywhere. Oh, big contact. That's Ty Delaney into the wall. Oh, he just saves it. Just saved it. But that's going to cost him all the way back to P25. Gets caught up in amongst all of the early action. We'll go back and we'll check that out in just a moment. But, geez, what a start. We knew it'd be tough off the line, but the track temps playing their part, getting a few of these guys underway, and everyone just starting to sort themselves out further back in the field. See a lot of movements there, but Ty Delaney finds himself, look, he's already up fighting for 22nd, 23rd, so he's looking to make a move back up through the pack.
Well, big wreck at the back there, badly Cooper's.
Yeah, big wreck. We'll go back and check that out in
Brad's
just
behind
a
the
moment.
fence. I can't see him, he's hiding. Reminds me of the fence that's actually in Interlagos that, there's 2 cars hiding behind the fence. You go back and have a look at that one, of course, in a minute. We don't want to miss the live action that's still happening. Dan the man, for the Dan fans out there, dropped a couple off the line. A similar situation that what happened to, obviously, earlier that we'd seen too with our driver out there. I can't remember his name at the moment. Ben Faulkner. So, yeah, another one that just bogged down there trying to get these heavy cars off the line.
Josh Benno's had an issue as well.
Into the Joshua Bernard into the start finish line fence as well. So they're going down the main straight away.
It's a rough start all around. Let's go back and let's take a look at Ty Delaney's start here. So Ty Delaney off the start of the race. Ben Faulkner gets the wheels spinning, so a better start from this time, but not quite as quick to get away as he probably would have liked. Now, what happens to Ty Delaney? Gets caught up in the chicane. Big contact there from his teammate. Back onto the track. Does he get... Oh, Ben Faulkner gets sandwiched between Jamie Dyke and Ty Delaney. Delaney just keeps it off the wall and then has to regather. Well, that explains it.
Yep, it's been a little bit more contact earlier. That Mitch Curry getting elbows out at the moment with Nicholas for the Frog Jeep Juiced Racing team. Just went a little bit further back down from them. He was the one a little bit 3 wide into the fence down the main straightaway, almost crossing the pit lane. Josh Harris there battling it out with Damon McDonald side by side. They will be battling it out currently for P13 at the moment. Damon McDonald looking to make an 11th place gain.
Bit of cloud cover here, helping to bring that track temp down
in the
further.
fastest lap, but there is a close battle brewing for P2 and P3 with Thomas Wilson and Troy McGuire. He's just at the fastest lap of the race, and as you can see in your pictures there at the moment. Fishy Motorsport's hunting down some SES Motorsport racing. Ford versus
Wilson,
Ford.
Though, comfortable out in front for now. They've managed to avoid a lot of the chaos, and they'll be breathing a sigh of relief knowing that Dyke and Delaney are a long way back, so they've got a little bit of time before they're likely to get hassled by either of those two. Let's go back and check out some of the early carnage, though. Dylan Thomas, he's had an absolute horror run here tonight, and oh no, he's gone straight into the pits there. Okay, let's check out what happened with Brad Cooper as well. This is him heading into the pits. Okay, so let's go back and see if we can find where he actually went off track.
This is what I was talking about. They're hiding behind the tree and I was trying to spot him. So
let's see if we can find what started that. Looks like Reese Wakefield goes off track first here. Big slide. Yeah, there we go. Runs into Brad Cooper, and Brad Cooper finds himself stuck there. So Reese Wakefield.
Thought he must feel bad to go back and loop around the tree because there was 2 of them at the tree. I don't know who the second one was.
The other was Billy J. Sinclair getting caught up in it as well, and I think he just had nowhere to go. Brad Cooper getting speared across in front of him. Nothing he could do, just along for the ride at that point. The battle going on, though, back with Mitch Curry. Take a look just behind him. He's got Josh Benno on his back again. Didn't we see
it's
this?
Benno, not Bernard. Sorry, Mike. Whoa, he's the kid that facing the opposite direction. That's Alex Wilson. It was not Ryan Smith.
Is.
Sideways
Smith.
Esports is literally sideways or backwards on a main start. Well, actually coming out of the second straightaway after the start finish line, and that was a scary moment. If you went a little bit too wide, you'd have a head-on in a Gen 3 V8 car, supercar at high speeds. Wouldn't be pretty even in the racing sim.
No, absolutely not. Let's go back and see if we can catch Ryan Smith's moment there. Just gets it, spins it around, and then, a couple of contacts and winds up off the track.
It tries to move off there, stays there. Thank you very much for that, Ryan, because, that could have been... well, that's Sideways Esport for you, mate. Literally living up to the name as you went sideways with a hard lick into the fence.
Yeah, not ideal, and he's going to have a lot of laps ahead of him, though, to try and catch it up. Meanwhile, Mitch Curry starting to extend a little bit over to Josh Benno. Reese Wakefield giving Benno plenty of attention, though, and just tacking onto the back. Look at all the marbles on the outside of that final turn. Got to be so careful. So we see him come down the main straight once again. The field already starting to just space itself out a little bit here, settling in for a much longer stint this time around, trying to save those tyres.
Yeah, and you need to get those pit stops done. Jamie Dyke, of course, the man that got the job done in a race 1 there. He's on the back there of Dan the Man, Danny P. And out there, Howard asking him if he can find 5/10. Easy, mate. Jump into a Formula 1 car and do laps around with these guys.
Reese Wakefield and Alex Wilson have just made it past Josh Benno, but Benno is fighting back. Wilson up over the curb. Is he going to get a slowdown there? Is he using the full track limits? That had to be close. Gets very, very loose, but contains Josh Benno and forces him to be happy with 19th for the moment. Henry King, meanwhile, is snuck up behind, as is David Coleman. So this battle pack just keeps shifting through the field as overtakes happen and people just get compressed. So Wilson now looking to hold people off as Mitch Curry and Reese Wakefield start to just make their way up the track a little further. these guys now battling it out for P9, so P18.
Yeah, we're talking to be exactly those positions all the way back there. Throw a
Big
blanket
lock
over
up from
them.
Wilson. He's going to give that up now. So loses a couple of spots. Can Coleman follow through as well? Absolutely. In the blink of an eye, Wilson drops to the back of the battle pack. Josh Benno back up into 18th.
For now.
For now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yielded to say, like to say, another fight for another day.
And here is Danny P, the crowd favourite, holding off the attack from Jamie Dyke as best he can. It is a big ask though. Dyke's got some serious pace. We've seen it in race 1. Takes a big look up the inside, and I think he's going to have it. Danny P finds himself out in the marbles, just too wide on that corner. And that's cost him the spot. Jamie Dyke through to P6. And Danny P just a little late on the brakes there. Couldn't pull it up in time and had to just try and recover it.
That's a little mistake early as well. I was very surprised. And Danny P's not an easy man to get past. And
No, he's usually
like,
super
and he can
consistent.
handle the pressure too of somebody on his tailpipe. So I was very surprised. I mean, you look how many laps that we saw that fantastic battle earlier, you know, with Jamie Dyke and Ty. Ty's now up at P12 now after that early incident you mentioned too, going off the kitty litter. So that's pretty fantastic. But those two going for it too for now, you know, and Ty holding off Jamie for all those laps. I was just surprised that Dan and Man made a little mistake right there and then.
And what happens though when a track gives you conditions like this? Really, anything can happen. Just a couple of time penalties coming through from race control. Josh Harris copping one there, as did Josh McLaughlin for earlier incidents there. So there it is, 20-second time penalty for number 520 Josh McLaughlin. That is going to hurt for him on such a short track. That makes all the difference. And then, yeah, Josh Harris,
he's in P14
10-second penalty as well.
He's up the road from Reese, who's on the back there of Mitch Curry at the moment, and Nicholas and Josh, as you mentioned, he looked a bit into Reese up in the inside. Currently, moment, this is a battle for P on Mitch Curry. So Reese Wakefield letting the boss know, caught you sleeping there, Mr. MC Motorsport, Mitch Curry, and gets the job done.
Keep an eye on David Coleman, still trying to find the way past Henry King. Made it past Alex Wilson along with these guys, but this battle continues. Josh Benno starting to just give himself a bit of breathing room in P18. But Coleman putting the pressure on Henry King, and in turn receiving the same from Wilson.
Wilson! That's, yep, you can see that on your pictures currently at the moment. So you got Henry King with the Wilson livery, with Alex Wilson just behind David Coleman, behind them.
It's not confusing for us here in the commentary booth at all, Nichols.
not at
We're
all.
fine.
Yeah.
We're consummate professionals, and that's why we get paid the big bucks.
I'll speak for yourself. You're the professional. Yeah.
Danny P.
You just pick me up off the street. You just pull over and go, hey, you want to jump in the booth with me? I'm like, yeah, right, mate. Here you go. Hands up.
You should have known that, beating that panel there, mate. Danny P. Continuing to keep an eye on the mirrors here. Jeremy Washington looking to find it. Billy J. Sinclair's gone around.
Yeah. He might have been in contact with Ryan Smith. I think there might have been contact with those two drivers.
Run it off the track there.
Ah.
So into the pits he goes. I don't know if that was originally planned to be his pit stop lap, but he's going to take it anyway.
Eat fresh. Eat Subway.
Back to it, and Danny P. continuing. Look in the background, though. David Kirby and Dean Powell.
I wouldn't hear those two. They've been at it a couple of times so far this season, mate. Yeah.
Absolutely, they have. So Sinclair now finds himself back in 27th. Reasonably quick stop, though. Just shy of 40 seconds end-to-end in the pits. So in and out of there.
Tell you what, they've just come out ahead, and that's the Subway machine of our race leader.
Now Coleman's just given
Luke
that
Newing.
space up. Coleman has just given up that spot to Alex Wilson. I wonder if there was a bit of contact further back and he's just been redressing, because that was a really unusual bit of movement. Let's go back to the last pass we saw from these guys. Was there a bit of contact here?
I'd say there's about 3 cars in the corner, mate. There's a pretty good chance on the exit here.
Side by side, looks like...
It's normal-ish in the side-by-side action here. And
yeah, so we'll jump ahead. Have a look at this, though. David Coleman goes very defensive, but has to get on the brakes super early and just drops in behind Wilson. Really interesting choice. I don't know what I'm missing here.
Ryan Smith's gone off the track again, just not having one of those days, unfortunately, for the Sideways eSport machine. He could have damage as well, too, from that hard link into the fence. The chauffeur used a fast repair. Didn't look like he hasn't been in the pit road, actually, believe it or not, Ryan Smith. But struggling, and the 60 machine not having one of those days at the moment, or nights.
Yeah, there's a few of the guys out there who are having a bit of a rough time, Bert. Have a look at this battle, though. Look who it is, Ty Delaney. Up into P12 now, and on the back of Dean Powell.
You be careful there, Ty.
That's
a road, mate.
That's a big recovery for Delaney.
That's a Black Hawk.
25th.
That's Black Hawk versus a fish.
I appreciate your support of all the Deans.
Ty might have him here, mate. Ty's going to run. Ty's going to send it. And he has to, because he knows how difficult it is to overtake at the moment. Gets on the chicane there, and Bingo gets the job done. Allows enough space, and that's how you get the job done. So there are overtakes here at this classic track in Winton. It's just
Ryan Smith off
the man
the
just
grass.
showed you how to get it done.
Not what he would have hoped for at all. Ryan Smith just finding himself off track all over the place. He's off track in the background again.
I know, yeah.
That car is struggling hard.
But you know what? He's getting some good practice laps in for Ryan, so as long as it's just self-inflicted incidents, he should be okay. And that's what it's all about, to get out there as the race conditions with Kitty Letter kicked up all over the track and was probably kicking up half of himself, but still, it's learning. And you elected you're going to be here tonight to do it. I'd say keep it out there, just like,
Biggles,
if you are
Biggles,
struggling.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yes, go ahead.
Ben Faulkner is out.
Whoa.
Ben Faulkner is out. When did that happen?
Also, who was that very slow car there? That's a subway car too. That was a little too slow off the apron, guys. And there's argy-barginess happening between David, Kirby, and Dean too, mate. We'll go back and have a look at what happened with Ben. I didn't see anything in race control saying Ben had a memento.
He's out. He's out of the car. Let's have a look. You can see he's gone off track a bit further back, so he got caught up in that early incident. This is where he got
3 in 1. He got squeezed. He got pinched. That was at the start, bud.
That was back at the start. I wonder if he's just found that he just couldn't get it going again from there. Huge amount of damage on the car.
I would be surprised after Ben. He didn't have the best of luck in the Ezra TC.
There it is. I think he's called it a day there after that start to race 2. So
this is not just about saying no giving up, because even if you're not having the best of days, just like Ryan Smith isn't, you're still getting some practice laps in there in these conditions. And look what happened. He fought his way back up there and got himself a nice podium position, didn't he, on that first heat? So
indeed. So Ben
why
Faulkner,
you wouldn't give up? Because Ty, remember, was almost the plump last on this one as well too.
Mitch Curry goes around. Mitch Curry sideways. Josh Bennett,
look away, Meg,
and
family. Look away.
There he goes. Michael Brennan in the chat calling it a rage quit. I think you're on the money there, Michael. It was not the start Ben Faulkner would have wanted. And how many Formula 1 drivers would love to have rage quitted, but they're in a multi-million-dollar contract. But of course, he's not a multi-million-dollar contract, so we can't. Look, honestly, you have a start like that, and I totally understand it, because from that point, your race is pretty well done. He had so much damage on that car. By the time he made it back around to the pits, got repaired, got back out there, it would have been a monumental task for him to recover anything in this race. You see the battle continue. This has been the closest battle pack for most of the race so far. This is the battle for P17. So Mitch Curry, unfortunately, out of it for the moment. You see Jamie Dyke passing Aaron Gilbert further up the road as well. Let's keep an eye on this, because he's making moves. So Jamie Dyke, a great finish in race number 1. Up 4 spots now from starting in P9 with that reverse top 10 grid. And he's starting to reel it back in. We knew it'd be a struggle to make his way through the field, but getting there slowly but surely.
Well, this is essentially a mini endurance race, so there's a lot to go. You've got to think about this. We're already on lap 12 of 50. There's a long way to go here So there's a lot of things that have happened. You can see they've happened within the driver's incidents, a bit of damage and a leak into the wall and things like that. So it's certainly not over just yet. Ty on the back there of Robbie, and he might looking at getting him into turn 1. As we've seen some sort of classic overtakes the last late breakers. No, he will like to lift off a little bit there. But you see, these situations at the moment could benefit Ty. Could make his way up into P9 if he gets past Robbie, or they could both have a moment there and be in the kitty litter and take some repairs. So it's just a lot to go still. I think you can't just close the book after chapter 1 because the story may be unfolding a little bit further in those pages.
It may be. The Major's garage livery, incidentally, on Bradbury's car, looking absolutely stunning. That might be livery of the night for me, I reckon.
Ooh, you tickled somebody's tickled.
That's a
Jared's
quality one.
I like that. Well, if that paint's not scraped off of his door banging in the moment, mate.
Yeah, not wrong.
Exactly.
Not wrong. Now, just wanted to point out, lap 13 right now. Ty Delaney spoke to us between races after his race win, said that there was about 10 those tyres started to go off. Well, have we lost our connection here?
There we go. We're back again. Jared. Yep, we got you.
Yep, we're back again. Apologies for the brief interruption. I'll try and figure out what's going on there. But Ty Delaney said it was about 10 laps in the tyres started to really go off. So we're past that mark now. We'll take a very quick look at the weather again. The track temps. We'll just have to work on getting our overlay back up and running here.
Just a little dingo chewing your cable, mate. Or that drop bear's jumped down the tree there and taken a little snack out of your internet cable. But don't you, Jared, will get that sorted, and it's coming up those pictures anyway for you right now. With the
track
information
temp's actually climbing again. We started at 48 degrees. We had some lovely cloud cover, but it's come back up to 50 degrees now. So the track's getting hotter again. Still not up to the 60 of race 1, but those tyres will be copping punishment as Delaney looks for a pass again. Is he going to make it stick around the outside this time? Big contact. As Bradbury just reminds him, no, you can't just waltz on through like that. These guys going at it. And Delaney's starting to get maybe a little frustrated with not being able to get past Bradbury.
Yeah, you don't want to... I'd say it's a little early to get frustrated. Maybe you want to get around that pit stop window, possibly any pit stop window, and then just jump in there and put the bankers in there. But at the same time, remember, you lose that thrill, don't you? There you go. Bingo on that.
Delaney makes it look easy in the end. Just had to pick the right corner to make the pass and pulls away, leaving Bradbury in the dust already out to 6/10. So Delaney, plenty of pace out of that final turn. We saw it a few times tonight. David Coleman back here with Josh Benno. Can he get the same sort of drive out of the corner and make something happen into turn 1? He's setting up for it. Benno's sitting inside, just very slowly making his way across to the racing line and forcing Coleman to just tuck in again for another lap. Keep an eye on the other Delaney further up, though. Blake Delaney has Jamie Dyke all over him. The 3 Fishy Motorsports entries here. Troy Maguire, Blake Delaney, Jamie Dyke in at 3rd, 4th and 5th. Aaron Gilbert just trying to hang on to the back at the moment.
Just throw a net out there and catch all 3 Fishy Motorsports in one. A corner, he'd be loving it there for the Team Jinx shifters. But of course, the Fishy Motorsports are a little slippery to catch, per se.
Ooh, I'll allow it. Troy Maguire right now, just giving all of the slipstream to his teammates. These guys haven't really switched places for the first probably 10 or 12 laps here for Maguire and Delaney. So they've made their way through a couple of cars, but have been pretty well sorted. Blake Delaney now looking up the inside, but doesn't have the pace, just taking a bit of a look ahead to see what's going on. And it's when you see moves like that, you start to wonder a little bit, because when you're tucked in behind that rear wing, you can't really see what's up the road. I'm wondering if Delaney's maybe just starting to question why Maguire's going at the pace he is. Wondering if Delaney might have a little bit more up the sleeve that he's looking to pull out here. 16 laps into this 50-lap race number 2, and yeah, these guys have got to be they've got to be desperate for tyres already, Biggles. But a long way to go before they can jump into the pits, isn't it?
Yeah, well, remember in Heat 1, even though it was a lot hotter, but they had to sprint all the way 25 laps there without heading pit road. So they know how punishing it is. And they're going through these conditions again, but they know at this point, like, who's going to jump there further and go, look, I knew that I was losing too much time in that first heat, but of course you're not going to pit and go 30, 40 seconds down on that time it takes to go in. And now you can go, maybe I'll go on a little bit early, and maybe I'll with it, let's 4 freshies on, and maybe I'll start putting some banker laps in, and when everybody else comes to pit on their time, I can zoom in on by.
You've got to wonder as well if these guys are starting to think about how a safety car might factor in. Because you could be at a huge advantage by actually getting in a second stop. Oh, big wiggle there from Troy Maguire. Now, Thomas Wilson's into the pits.
Yep, they might be thinking about that one too. Yes, we'll see how that pans out for the SCS Motorsport.
That's pretty early. That's pretty early.
It is
Maybe
early. It is early, but he could be gambling on a safety car later on, just as you mentioned. It's just as you said safety car, and he said bang. Maybe he was listening to the stream and going, "Well, safety car. I'll come in."
Maybe. We'll see how that one. See how that one plays out for Thomas Wilson. It's a big ask.
Well, there's a late one. You know, let's say 3/4 of the way through the race. You know, where his tires will start falling off the cliff again, as Blake sends it up the inside, and he's got to commit to it. It'll swing around again, but it'll go to the left-hand side. I think he's got enough through.
Yeah, he's made the move around the outside. So Troy Maguire gives up 2 spots in one hit there. Yeah, it's we've seen a couple of attempts at a pass through there as well, and I've got to say it's one of the riskier corners to try and make a pass happen, because even if you do make it up the inside, you find yourself on the outside almost immediately afterwards for the next turn, and no one wants to be there.
Tom down to P23 currently at that pit stop, which cost him overall. Look at the pit stop times. It's so about 33 seconds stationary in pit stop at about a minute. So let's work on about a minute.
That's a big stop.
It's a big stop. Yeah. And I expect his fuel to the end. He's got his tires on. He'll be hoping, I'd imagine, a little bit later on, there's a late caution, late safety car. Everybody jumps on the pit road. He resumes track position. Bingo, he's in the lead, and he has to hold people off for give or take 5 to 10 laps, and Bingo's got the race done. So could be big brain Thomas Wilson.
Jeremy Washington running off and just recovering it. Only just recovers that one. But back up front, yeah, Blake Delaney just still holding off Jamie Dyke. These guys just settling in, 18 laps in. Luke Newing, 6.5,
solid.
7 seconds out in front.
Solid, didn't he? The man that essentially in the reverse grid was 9th in the first heat race, and yep, he stayed up front. It's not like that situation where it's like just fluked and hey, I managed to get myself in the top 10, but clearly I'm not as quick as the rest of the drivers. Not for Luke Newing. He's had good pace all for this feature race, as well as in the heat race too, so the first heat race. So he's earned his position, and he's well driving it.
Absolutely. 5 drivers now out so far this evening. Billy J. Sinclair withdrawing, Ryan Smith as well, who had a bit of a rough start to this race. We saw that. Brad Cooper out, Ben Faulkner, of course, and Orlando Black now out of the car as well. So a few drivers really struggling tonight. It's a tough track, Winton. If it goes wrong, it can go wrong in a big way very, very quickly, and it's really hard to catch it back up in these cars. So, yeah, bit of a rough night for a few, as Jamie Dyke gets a moment there, manages to push on through, just avoids Blake Delaney getting very, very sideways. But Jamie Dyke steps on through, and that moves him up into P2.
You got to do a bit of argy-bargy. They'll be fighting back, no doubt, I would imagine, as you're going to see the other 2 drivers behind him catch him pretty quickly as well,
on his tail. Got a great line into that corner. Jamie Dyke not so lucky. Delaney doesn't want to give that up. He is straight back in there and fighting to get back into P2. And after all that, Luke Newing extending his lead 7.5 seconds now.
Giving us a good show. I'd expect those drivers that have retired from the session. Unfortunately, Billy Joe, there, Ryan Smith, Brad Cooper, Ben Faulkner, and Scott Stevens. I expect you all and y'all to be down over there and flying your buttocks down there to fly over to Florida and get your 24-hour Daytona practice in. Maybe some of them are going to be involved in that 24-hour endurance race, so they probably jumped on their racing rig straight into that one.
Look, I'm going to call
Maxi,
big moment in the background. Maguire very sideways.
Yeah, he's going to lose this one. For Aaron's going to have the momentum big time, and it's going to be like, thank you very much for that one there, 163 there, Troy.
Super late braking
and
too.
Aaron Gilbert will take it. Yeah, the right place at the right time. But I was to say, even Max Verstappen was out back on his racing rig again today. They're practicing for the Daytona 24.
Yeah, not surprising. I'm going to throw this out there. I don't get it. Daytona is an awful track to drive.
Hey,
I don't love it.
Oval. I'm doing the 500 coming up soon, mate. It's
one
on
thing.
Daytona.
It's one thing to race it as a pure oval track, but the road course there, I don't get it. I just don't.
So I guess you're not going to be on my team there, Jared, or anybody's team for the 24-hour.
No, I will pass. I did the Raw over the weekend, the 2-hour 40-minute version.
Yeah. Well,
look,
you didn't like it, did you?
I don't get the love for that track. I'm sticking with that story. Mitch Curry's had a big moment in the background.
He doesn't get the love.
What's happened for Mitch?
Meg, look away.
Or is this
the Mitch
just
Curry
him entering the
members.
track and...
Oh, no, it's just a pit lane entrance.
It's fine. It's just a pit lane entry. That's catching us out over and over again tonight.
It is actually, yeah. It's because it's triggering a little
because he's slowing down so much for that entry.
That goes to show you that if they're reducing their speed by a certain amount, it comes up a little race control message just going, hey, there's a crash.
Luke Newing's crashed. Luke Newing has crashed.
Oh,
the man who was leading by 7.5 seconds.
No, it's a pit road entrance thing again.
Tell me it's a pit road entrance, please.
It is. It's a pit lane entrance. Oh, no, it's a slide.
He's spun it around. Thankfully, no damage.
He's trying to go into pit road. That's the pit road. No, it's not actually.
There goes the chasers. Oh, Troy Maguire almost making contact, and I think that spurred him to go and make that pit stop. Those tyres have said enough at lap 21.
After all that hard work.
It's rough, isn't it? 7.5 seconds of lead.
Down the drain, mate.
Gone in an instant.
Anyway.
That was...
He's got to just put his head back up there and just get on with it and just go, you know what? It can happen to the other drivers just as much as it can happen to me. Or it did.
30.9 second stop. There you go,
Yeah.
30.9 seconds. So that is about what we're expecting from these stops at the moment. Out in under a minute, so Newing back on track. Harrison 21st, now into his pit box as
Has the chat got quiet out there? Just say hello,
Stevens.
of course. Make sure you like and subscribe. We're 7 or 6 or so away from 100 big ones, cracking that century. It's just like a cricket match, mate, isn't it? When you're getting closer and closer to that century, you don't want to get bowled out. And of course, that's not going to happen here. Dude, have Nicholas out there in the chat.
We've got Spud in the chat. How are you, my friend? Good to hear that you are back in the country, and good to have you back around for this one. We'll catch up, absolutely.
Where'd you go, mate?
Yeah, Spud, from the early days, if you've been around with our broadcast since the very first ones, and I'll be honest, because I went back and had a bit of a listen to my very first broadcast for MC.
Oh, was that when you used to talk like this when you were a teenager?
Not that long ago, but I tell you what, I was embarrassed for me compared to how we go now. I think
we all grow, mate. We all get experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good on you, and it's fantastic to hear. And I didn't want to go back and hear what I did post-COVID, well, just after COVID days. Anyway, we are who we are, and we grow, and we get better. Just as these drivers do, lap by lap.
Still going at it. These guys have been nose to tail for a few laps now, and no one seems to be able to make the move. These track conditions really making it tricky.
Bit of a switcheroo for the lead, mate, because off into the kitty litter goes our number white Blanco machine. And Jamie Dyke there and Blake, yep, they're switcherooing a little bit there. I don't know if they're team orders. There's a pit lane interest, and I'd like them going this time around there.
No team orders
Aaron
here.
Gilbert is there behind him, and Troy's just a little bit down the road there with a lapped car in play. So this is big time, big plays here.
Look who's here, though. Ty Delaney.
Yes,
past Troy Maguire, he is up amongst it, now into P4. A massive comeback from that early incident, found himself down in P25 or thereabouts, and now back up into 4th place. What a drive from Ty Delaney.
Oh, he's thinking. I'm telling you, he can get the quadruple here. He can get all of it. and get the fastest lap. He can get the. He's got the pole. He's got the race 1 win. All he needs is this one to get them all. And he's
on track.
He's got 3 cars up the road, minus, of course, we had a couple of drivers that go on the pit road, like Luke Newing, Thomas Wilson's been in, and Josh McLaughlin. So those drivers are 15th, 16th, and 17th. They may very much come back out ahead of this crew, but who knows at this point, as Dylan Thomas has had a little moment. He's actually heading the pit road. So this is pit stop time here for the MC Motorsports, round 2.
Check out Reese Wakefield. Finds himself in the marbles, but he's trying to get a better line here to come past Coleman. Just can't get it done. Nicholas Garrioch just waltzing away in the Frog Leap Juiced entry just ahead, but Wakefield's been hassling Coleman as well. These tyres must be on the very, very limit at this stage. 24 laps in. They barely survived 25 laps the first time around.
I wish you could be a fly on the wall, right, for the Fishy Motorsports racing teams, see what they're doing with P1 and P2, where they're going to be heading in there. Towards Ty, as you'd mentioned, Troy, 4th and 5th. We've only got Aaron Gilbert there, the Team Jinx Shifters, is holding his team name up for grabs there in that 203 machine in the 3rd place. He's like going, yeah, I'm feeling it as well too. We'll find out, of course, from the drivers a little bit later on. Dean Powell on the back there of David Kirby. They're battle for 9th and 10th. So, looking at this one, Thomas Wilson would be the leader of the pack of pit stops. That's done the mandatory pit stop. He's back in P15. So, how's that going to pan out? What is he? 47 seconds away from the race leader.
At this point, there's a gap of what? 19 seconds back from the car in front.
But he's 47 from the race leader.
47 from the race lead. He needs to be over a minute. He needs to be over a minute for this to. Josh Benno just set the fastest lap back in 18th to 1:23.68. So he's pushing hard.
He is. Yeah, they are too.
There. Fresh tires.
They're quietly getting the job done. A little bit of gap between them. The FC Sim Sports teams, they're line astern, they're 17th and 18th, but remember, we're thinking a net there essentially maybe a net 2nd or 3rd or 4th when these other pit stops are done and dusted. We've got 2 different alternative strategies that are occurring here at the moment. I'm sure the race engineers there from Jamie Dyke at the moment, who just missed out on that first race win here for the heat sprint tonight, it's got to be sitting there with his engineer trying to crunch some numbers to see how are they going to find themselves to get out ahead, potentially, of Thomas Wilson and Luke Newing.
Yeah, big ask as we see David Coleman run on through and pass Nicholas Garrioch there. Race control, I hope that's not a 510-second penalty. I assume that's probably a 10-second penalty. Noted there for car number 59, which is, of course, Damon McDonald. Just for that contact earlier, but...
He's currently running in P20th at the moment. Yeah, race control, of course, you're looking at 10,000 replays and
don't envy them. Never envy them.
Reviews. Oh no, it's a tough job. It's a tough job, and we hats off to anybody doing race control, as they're going to deal also later on with I would say race control's final during a race, and it should be, but you always going to have somebody drivers are always going to uphill it, and you have to explain yourself as a race control. Why you made those actions, which I don't think you ever should. You're like a referee in a match. You don't, stop the match and then somebody comes back later and double. You said, my decision is finals race control, because I've looked at this about 100 times and that's it. Dean goes into
the pits, yep. So that's a fairway back in the field now. Big
bit of key letter kicked up over there.
I wonder if that's Nathan Bowman, perhaps.
It's
going off track.
A Blanco machine. Mm-hmm. So Blanco
does love that white livery. So he's just sitting there dragging it all onto track. You see him passing in the foreground there as these leaders start to catch up to him.
Full on for that. Solid performance there, even though you're just not having the best of days. But I like it. I like
Got to stick in there.
Give it a shot.
Got to stick in there, absolutely. It's Aaron Gilbert. Just tries to follow Ty Delaney and hang on to the back of him there. It's probably not a bad strategy. Delaney, we saw very, very quick in race 1. Just waiting now to see when these leaders decide to make their first pit stop.
I think they're crunching numbers, aren't they? There's a little bit of bent wing on Ty. Ty's got a bit of a bent wing. I think that's that early incident when they had a little bit of contact.
Sideways in the background.
He's done that twice now. I think it was somebody else that did that earlier. Like, you got to choose your moments to get completely off the racing line as well. But you got to be predictable. It's like those, so you got to see it in the Daytona 24-hour. You saw, obviously, the Daytona Raw, that you got to be predictable to overtake. And, of course, we're not multiple class here, so, you know, you've got to try to get off the racing line. But you also don't want to get off in the kitty litter too much, mate, because you don't want to kitty litter into the corners when these guys are going flat out in there and they're trying to spot their braking point, not knowing that there's dirt there.
Yeah, it really does change the feel of the track. It doesn't take much to really affect the grip you've got, and on a track where grip is already so scarce with the temperatures these drivers are facing, although a little bit of cloud cover now may be offering them just a touch of respite. We'll check the weather again, but yeah, there you go. Track conditions getting better, down to 46 degrees, so it is cooling off. A little bit of a breeze, but not much. The air temp dropping down to 28 degrees now as well. As Dean Powers come out of pit lane now, has he crashed, or is that just him waiting to get back on track? We'll go and take a look at that in just a moment. In fact, let's check it out now.
He's
coming out, fresh tyres.
I think he's fine. Yeah.
Or is this?
No, Dean Powell just came out.
No, there he is. It's gone snap sideways in the marbles.
Final corner again. That's the one I was noticing during the practice sessions, mate. Like, you know, it's always that, you know, I want to kind of give everybody the advantage that are tuning in at the moment to say, you need to get your fold-out chair, which is your best seats from Dean Biggles that you get your best bang for your buck. That'll be it. Robert.
Final turn.
Bradbury into pit road there for Pacific East Sports Racing.
As well.
P10, yep.
So now here at P12, you'll see their positions down there at the bottom of your broadcast. It just shows the position, not the car number. I have to keep reminding myself of that, because otherwise I go looking for car numbers that don't exist. But it will show you just where they're sitting as cars come past them. So keep an eye on that tower. Bradbury on his way out now. Garrioch, so a really quick stop for Bradbury, actually only 17 seconds. That is really fast. Got to wonder if he actually took a full fuel load, or if he's planning a splash and dash later. Garrioch looking a bit more like what we'd expect, 25 seconds in the box there, taking on fuel and tyres.
iRacing's given me a little prediction out here with our software.
Okay.
That if Jamie Dyke comes into pit road right now, it reckons, it says reckons, it's very Aussie, no. It thinks that it'll come out before Reese Wakefield in P10, which means who is yet to box.
A big gap ahead of Thomas Wilson.
And that's Henry King behind Reese. And then, of course, the big one is Thomas Wilson. They're the one to look out for, because he's got that pit stop done on lap 138 too.
Danny P comes in for his stop. So that's lap 29. That's starting to... You've got to think these guys are coming in soon, right? Like it's getting to the point of the race where if you're going to come in, it's about now. Or maybe you just push on with the track cooling. Maybe these tyres are just getting a bit more life out of them than they were originally expecting.
Let's review this. Okay, let's have a look at this. Thomas Wilson, and the one that's net lead of this race in pit stops, last lap a 24.97, a 24.79, and a 24.96 for our top two in this race. So he's doing the same lap times.
Still getting the lap times.
They're doing the same lap times, and they got older boots.
Not just older, but ancient comparatively.
Ancient, yeah. So if they're looking at that, and they'll be obviously their engineers and spotters will be saying, hey, these guys down the road are doing similar times, if not slower times. So keep going. I say keep going until you drive the rubber off the rim if you have to, because you're doing it right.
Yeah, the problem is though, once the tyres go, it becomes really, really hard to just get it around the track once they're past the point of no return. But you're absolutely right. Dyke, Delaney behind. So if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong, I apologise in advance, but I believe a father and son team. I believe Blake Delaney might be Ty's dad. Someone in the chat happens
yeah, he's a mister.
To confirm it.
Yeah, he's the mister. I think you've heard this before. So And Ty's in the 24 club, believe it or not, the top 3 are the only drivers really on the track. Maybe a couple of others there, but in the 24 club
right now,
consistently, let's say. Aaron Gilbert, Troy Maguire, Jeremy Washington, DC. DC's been in the 24 club. He's running a P7. But all these drivers, David Kirby, Reese Wakefield, they're in the 26 and 25 clubs. Those drivers, 8th and 9th. So it's interesting. It's still interesting, but still showing me
definitely giving up. But with the fuel coming out of the tank, like the cars are getting lighter and lighter, right? So
they are, yeah. So it's probably helping him out with the punishment of the downforce onto the tires. Still showing me currently at the moment from our prediction team, but there is Jamie's in. So the prediction team's telling me he's going to get out ahead of David Kirby, but I think more than anything, going to be pushing it close to get out ahead of Thomas Wilson in P10. So keep an eye
on that one. So currently sitting in P4, we want to see Jamie Dyke out in about P9. Is what we're hoping to see here. Let's see how good your prediction is there. David Coleman goes into the pits as well.
Oh, it's not my prediction. It's the
Jamie Dyke now 8 seconds in the box. Probably a mid 20-second stop for him. He's run the fuel down a lot lower than the previous stops that we've seen so far. So keep your eye on the timer down below. There we go, 17.7 seconds. A lightning fast stop for Jamie Dyke. He's on his way out of the pits. And comfortably out ahead of Thomas Wilson.
Yeah, here we go. Actually, a lot. We're looking at about well, it'll pick itself up with the speed is there, but...
Yeah, very, very comfortably out in front. Mitch Curry moves over to let the Delaney's through, and Michael Angus in the chat confirming Blake is Ty's old man. Good to know I'm not completely insane in thinking that. I'm not making stuff up as we go. Absolutely going to be a pleasure to see you on track with us, Michael.
It's he got out ahead of Thomas by 10 seconds.
Well out
so that's going to be interesting. What about Blake now in the lead of this race? What's he going to like to do? He's coming in. He's coming in.
Right, so Blake Delaney, Ty Delaney both in.
Yeah,
so Jamie went in last lap.
Family. Oh, get this point in the right direction there, Blake.
Danny P. Oh, that's some heavy contact there. Luke Newing and Danny P coming together. See the pit stop starting to flow now. The two Delaney's in, Gilbert in as well. Jeremy Washington in P5. David Kirby goes in. Reese Wakefield stays on track. A lot of pit stops happening at the top end of the field there. So really, the only drivers left to pit, Troy Maguire and Reese Wakefield. A huge distance in between them, though. 16 seconds from Maguire back to Wakefield. Not even racing in the same part of the track. Not even close. So there we go. Blake Delaney back out on track, just ahead of Jamie Dyke.
How did Jamie manage to split them both? That's amazing, isn't it? That's interesting. And it's going to be very close towards the end of this race for sure now, because I expect this driver to come back in pit road again unless we get a late caution.
Ty Delaney spending an extra 4 seconds, 3 or 4 seconds over Jamie Dyke, and an extra 6 seconds over Blake.
I know why. I saw a bent fender, the rear fender, rear spoiler.
So he's had just a little bit of repair work done.
Yeah, just check it out to see whether or not it is done. It is straight now, so they banged it out. Yep, there it is. I did notice that from one of the first incidents that Ty had, and I was looking, it was got a bit dinged up, and he's elected to choose those repairs. It'll cost him a bit of time, but he's confident as now Troy Maguire goes in from the lead of this race. Reese Wakefield's the only one now to stay out yet to have a pit stop. So how long can Reese Wakefield go with that fan boost out there too?
Bit of time to go yet. Blake Delaney though, coming around, he'll be looking to end up well ahead of Troy Maguire. Yeah, look at that little bit of damage though. I mean, it wasn't hurting Delaney's lap times, but obviously throwing him off enough that he feels he wanted to go faster.
He feels he can go faster. Jamie Dyke feels he can go faster. Bingo, 23.4s. Now the tyres are starting to tumbling. They don't have much gasoline in the tank. They've taken probably some boots. I'm not sure if that did take the boots on the pit stop. I'd say definitely. It's a 17-second, 20-second pit stop stationary. Yeah, you could take boots in that. I'm used to kind of NASCAR taking about 17 seconds. So, yeah. That's right. You could use all four wheelmen here, can't you? You don't have to switch one side up at a time.
Now you can get through just a little quicker. Just a little quicker as Brendan pointing out the fast repair probably coming in very handy there indeed for Ty Delaney. And you know what?
you
if
reckon
you're in
use
there
the old
anyway,
fasty?
well,
Just up a little slower then.
that'd make sense. About 6 seconds, 6 to 7 seconds for a fast repair. Usually about right. It's not always instant, so.
Well, if he gets himself in P3, we'll be able to have a chin wag and tell him to get about it, but he's got to get past Jamie Dyke. What about Reese Wakefield? Well, most likely they will. Reese Wakefield's only 8 seconds and change up the road off from Blake, and there it is. It's right on cue. Reese is in.
So he'll be coming out well down the pack now as everyone starts to sort themselves out. So we've got just about a true race order here. The variance in tyre age though is absolutely huge. So if we take a look at the pit strategy, here's a moment to just bring that up. I don't know if we actually have the strategy available tonight.
It's fine, my friend.
No such luck. But just thinking about how these drivers have approached it, we've got a bunch of drivers now out in the lead of the race. The top five, sorry, all pitting, laps 30, 31, 32. Thomas Wilson's got some work to do to hang on to P6 because his tyres have been on there since P16. As Delaney runs very wide, Jamie Dyke goes through. Well, Nathan Bowman just trying to put the power down perhaps a little too aggressively. Further back though, Sideways Esports caught in the battle. Thomas Wilson and Luke Newing here with Danny P.
Now what's happened? This is a big question of Luke, right? Remember, Luke was leading this race for a good chunk of change. Just made a little error, didn't it? A little of a spinneroo before pit road. Or I like to go pit road anyway after the spinneroo because maybe the tyres were, not flat spotted or heated up. He's got a hold on pressure here from Danny P.
His tyres on lap 20 took those, so they're not exactly new tyres. And Danny P behind him took them on 28, so yeah, he's got a lot of work to do to make them last and to try and hold off a very, very capable Daniel
You rolled
Coulton.
back, mate. You would have rolled yourself back like 20 laps ago. You would have put your money on Luke to win this one, and look how much
that
it switches pretty quickly.
7.5 second gap disappeared, didn't it? He spun around at a very fast
He had that
section
big
of
lap.
the
He
track.
built it up. He was confident since the start of this one. He was right out in this grid, and it's got me all confused. I mean, that one mistake really did. It must have been that cost Luke. Unless we find out something about from the driver later on, they'll be saying, "Oh, it was also this." I'm like, "Oh, that makes sense too." But absolutely,
I think it's just unlucky. The corner that he spun on, right in between two fast sections of track, it's going to very, very quickly eat away that lead that he had, and really has cost him tonight. But hopefully, he can salvage a top 10 finish from it. It's going to be a lot to ask from the tyres, though, as we start to enter into the last quarter or so of this race. 35 laps down, 15 or so to go, depending on where you are in the order of things. As we continue to watch David Kirby and Dean Powell battling it out further back in the field. Now Danny P looking to make a move. Oh, big contact. He's made contact there with Luke Newing.
Yeah, Luke is. They've come together. So we were just talking about Luke's bad luck earlier before the first round of pit stops. Now her luck's turning even worse. So he's going to drop outside the top 10.
Radio lighting up now though, and Mitch Curry. While we were watching that one, Mitch Curry has had a big moment. What's happening? Just under brakes, just gets in the marbles and gets it sideways. Thankfully, keeps it way off the wall. Just has to spin it back around. Good
spin, but facing the right direction because he knows he's off the racing line. Not going to affect anybody out there unless they lose control, and that's nothing that Mitch Curry can do anything about that. But he gets it pointing in the right direction so he can get on the accelerator again, gingerly, thankfully, because we're not going to have much traction once you've got all that dust and leaves and all that sort of stuff. Blake challenging Jamie Dyke for the lead here on lap 36 of our feature race. Thank you all for tuning in there and sticking with us.
He's still going at it. Jamie Dyke, really trying to get the power down early, and these guys sliding the tyres through, feeling fairly confident maybe with the much fresher rubber. They've only got to make it last another 13 or 14 laps, so probably feeling like they've got it well under control. The track temps have hovered pretty comfortably around the same sort of levels, so they'd be expecting to get reasonably quick through about 10 laps before the tyres start to go off, as we see. Oh, it's a rough day, isn't it, for
Yeah.
for Dylan
It's
Thomas.
Dylan Thomas. I think Dylan Thomas has got out in the kitty. He completely got it. That's deliberately out in the kitty litter.
Just
He
got
saw
out of the
these
way.
two. Yeah, he
You know
saw
what?
these two battling it out, and he gone, I got nothing to do with it, and he did the right thing. Look at that, absolutely.
Credit to
Blake's
him.
going to punish that.
He's in 23rd. He's up 7 spots from where he started after a horror race 1. Further back.
Yeah, he was on the lead lap this whole time. He just went a lap down, if
It's
I'm
only,
not mistaken. So
only just happened, I think. Yeah, he's still just barely hanging on to the lead lap there. So doing a fantastic job from P30 at the start of the race.
yes, sir.
A rough
Seven.
night.
So Blake putting pressure on Jamie. That's battle for the lead that you can see further back in the pictures there. This Mr. Washington.
Danny P, a 20-second time penalty for that contact.
Oh, Danny, you're going to be sent to the naughty boy, into the naughty corner. That's going to be
cost him,
punishing.
and that's not surprising. So that contact, we'll go back and take a look at that. And this is what's earned him the 20-second penalty. Just
It's a tag turn, double tag, and then
look, there wasn't a lot of room there, but
I don't know. That's I'm not going to be a big fan of Danny Dan the man, because if you look at it, he's going to send it. I've seen a few drivers do that tonight. They've sent it. Okay, it's a send. He's hit the chicane, bounces the car straight in to the side of the SES machine, turns him, and that's all she wrote on that one. So what do? You've got to make an overtake. It's hard to do, but he did hit the chicane. The chicane lifted the car up, threw him in there. That's also the risk you take. It is a racing incident, but Daniel is at fault as well. And race control have deemed that one, so there it is, mate.
Yeah,
They look at it from a lot of different angles. And on top of it, don't forget, Jared, they look at other incidents that we might necessarily looked at. They might have been a little bit of beef. These drivers could have tangled with each other for the last 5 laps. We didn't see it on our pitches for the review. There could have been some door banging. There could have been a little bit of elbows out and stuff like that. They'll take all that into consideration.
I don't think there's been too much there, honestly. I think just judging by the entry there, Danny P just overshot it, had no business putting his nose in on that corner.
But when you referee, you've got to look at previous incidents that have occurred earlier and add them up, because they come into play. All right. I mean, it's like you're refereeing sports and stuff like that. There could be elbows out, and you're like noted. And then if this behavior continues, then you start dishing out those penalties. So I'm just saying, there's other things that we don't always see on the pitches.
Sometimes indeed. Big moment there for Jamie Dyke, getting very, very loose. He's pushing hard here. Blake Delaney definitely taking the challenge too. We're under a bit of cloud cover again, so track probably cooling a little further for these guys. We might see the pace start to lift. They're down into the low 24s, so out in front, these two absolutely going at it, but in the background, Ty Delaney not far behind, just a few seconds back, with plenty of room behind him, so no pressure on him. He can just put in some solid laps here and hopefully sort himself out with the podium. Not far to go. Josh Harris into the pits as well. Nathan Bowman's into the pits, so a couple of extra stops for these guys. Yeah, not surprising at all. It's a long race. It's been really punishing on these tyres, and I'm going to be surprised if we don't see a few more second stops here.
I'm wondering if who's the junior, who's the alpha here? If it's Blake or Ty from the Delaney family there, because
they're both
quick, but Blake is quick. Here we go, big run, and he's committing at this point. At least he's throwing the dummy. Try the old switcheroo. Don't go too far up those marbles, my friend. That would been a slippery case at the moment there, especially as you go deeper into this semi-endurance race here for the MC Motorsports. Hey, this is the cold split too, mate.
It absolutely is.
You want to talk about the silver coming up that's occurring at the same time, actually. Most likely.
We've got plenty to cover. plenty to cover. It'll be interesting to see what.
Look at this switcheroo blocking happening at the moment, Dad. Jamie's got every right to try to throw. Blake's got to go around, mate. Over, around, somewhere along the line, but you ain't going straight through the racing line right now. Jamie Dyke's doing his best to hold off.
A lot of work. Let's go on board. This is with Blake Delaney, and you can see Jamie Dyke just pulling away in the distance. So Delaney just having a bit of a rough run through there, running off track a few times.
Jeremy Washington. Jeremy Washington's gone kitty litter. And he's come back in. He's still P9. Oh, they come together. Yep, I'd say they might have come together, mate, because they were line of stern. 9 for 10.
You can see just every now and then in the mirrors here, Blake Delaney just looking back in that right-hand mirror. You can see Ty Delaney just popping up through the corners.
Don't you race in your mirrors, mate. Race forwards, just rip them off there. You can only look forwards and not backwards with this motorsports racer. You're right, actually. He is going to see Ty. Ty's shaving about 4/10 in the last 2 laps on that. On this battle, you're seeing in your pictures.
Let's go back and take a look at this incident. So Coleman and Washington, have they actually come together here?
Got to be, unless there's a mistake up the road, right? But it seems that they both had simultaneous
big
contact.
Dive, and that's done it.
He's lifted, but he said, "My bad." That's my bad.
He pulled up to avoid any more damage.
That's a total my bad, but allowed Jeremy back through. That is definitely a hats off. We've seen that a couple of times. We've seen this so far, of course, in this season of MC Motorsports. We saw it last season as well. These drivers just do that. They go, "Oops," and and they're willing to, because it's only just lifting up. You're allowing that, resuming it back in again. They're just going to drop a little bit of time to the drivers up the road there and to the drivers behind them. But I love it.
The thing is, you know
what?
Backing it off, much better than a penalty from the stewards as well.
Yes, exactly. Because stewards look at that and go, "You know what? I don't have to dish a penalty you because you did the right thing." Wow.
And carry on. That's what we like to see.
Oh, so Jamie and Blake battling it out. Blake and Ty, I don't know what's happened up front there, but somebody went right off.
Looks like Ty's dropped a.
Ollie Stevens, I think, went off track just to get out of the way. Danny P's on the back of Thomas Wilson now.
Watching here, Henry King further back with Josh Benno and Nicholas Garriosh. So these guys going at it for P16. A little bit of a battle pack going on all the way back here. And all 3 of these drivers, Josh Benno on some really old tyres, took on lap 21, lap 29 for Henry King, and 27 for Garriosh, so their tyres much fresher. Benno's going to have a hard time.
We're seeing a lot of drivers going off track. You'll see a bit of stuff kicked up at the moment. Mitch Curry completely went off track, but that's scheduled. Mitch Curry going off track. He's getting out of the way because so much this traffic coming through in these pitches where drivers are battling it out. Jeremy Washington's battling it out currently with David Coleman on his tailpipe there. The laughing stock car versus the Fishy Motorsports. You've still got the battle between Jamie and Blake up the front there. Ty's trying to hunt them down. Aaron a little bit further down there. But every time they're coming up to these drivers, they're just these back markers per se, or lap cars almost, are getting out of the way. They just don't want to be in anybody's fight in the sharp end of the tool shed.
They are a long way back as well. So 5-second time penalty there to car number 640, David Coleman. And that'll probably be for that contact with Jeremy Washington. So only a small penalty.
Oh, that's harsh, isn't it, from race control? Because he lifted.
There was redress there.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe race control deciding that. And then look, Jeremy Washington.
I said there could be more beef, mate. There could be more beef in that barbecue.
To race control. So they've had a look at it. I think even with the redress, it was a pretty ambitious move, and I think, probably worth the penalty because there was never a pass on there.
Yeah, fair's fair. So David at the moment is going to put the pressure on Jeremy, but he should know that there's really no point in getting the overtake done on Jeremy because he's going to have to serve that penalty soon.
Well, he's going to try to pressure it's a time penalty. It's not a drive-through, so...
Oh, okay. So just keep pressuring.
Push on. Yeah, absolutely. May as well push on. Speaking of pushing on, Blake Delaney continues to pressure Jamie Dyke as we enter the closing stages of this race. And he's not lifted up, has he? Has not backed off an inch the whole way around.
Absolutely. Would you?
Well, I mean, I'm not the driver that these guys are, so I'm probably not the one to speak on that, honestly. I'm not as competitive as these guys are.
Full
So
send into the corner and get the race win. It feels good to get the race win. Hey, they're in the same team. And even if they yield at the moment, they make a little bit of a tango there. You got Ty at the moment. He's looking for the 4 out of 4. Yeah, if he can get that race win. He's not too far down the road as well. I'm telling you what, it's 6 laps. There is a slight possibility that Ty can shave 1.5 seconds and then take it to Blake and Jamie for the race win.
you got to wonder how much he's been calculating that along the way. You know, how much he needs to actually shave off, and whether he's been doing this just to try and maintain his tyres. Jamie Dyke, though, just, pushing on. You take a look back, there's Blake Delaney, just all over the rear end of this Fishy Motorsport.
Is this strategy at play? Is Blake put it? It's just no. It's not really, because Blake's got to put.
Takes a big look up the inside. Continues to pressure. Big moment there for Delaney. That's going to cost him some time down the straight. He's lost the traction out of that corner, and Jamie Dyke pulls away, but Delaney late on the brakes and immediately straight back on. Have a look at the marbles they're dealing with out there. If they go offline even a moment, it's going to cost them in a big way. It's just there's debris all over the track from all of the incidents we've seen tonight, and really only one solid racing line through most of these corners. Jamie Dyke gets a fantastic drive, and Delaney, even with the assist, just cannot reel him back in. This is the view out the back of Jamie Dyke's car. This is about all he's seen in his mirrors for the last, 15 laps? Something like that. Delaney looking to the inside. Oh! Thinks about sending it. The front of that car absolutely covered in rubber.
Yeah, but what goes around comes around, doesn't it? Because Jamie'd been the opposite. Yeah,
big moment.
That's going to allow Tyle to seize his opportunity at the moment. Ty is going to be, all right, Blake, we're family. We are family, and let's see it's going to pan out between them. I hope they are family. I'm pretty sure they're going to be family. And
they are.
Delaney's not
yes,
a chance of.
that.
I mean, if it's Smith and Smith, you probably go, all right, well, there's a good chance they're not family.
We covered that earlier, though. It's
we did.
You know, Blake is Ty's dad, for anyone wondering. So
there we go.
I don't think there's.
Come on, Blake. Teach the young gun some new tricks, mate. You got to get out. You can't let the youngster beat you, mate. Yeah, he can't. He'd love, obviously, be proud as father to his son beat him, but I think he's in this one. Blake wants to get this race win. All he has to do is get past Jamie up the road. Jamie Dyke.
It's a big ask now, though. He's given up a lot of time, and Jamie Dyke has not been hemorrhaging any time along the way. So we take a look a little bit further back. Henry King sneaking up behind Josh Benno again. These three. It's been non-stop, the battle back here. Josh Benno, though, drive of his life to just hang in there at the moment. His tyres much older than either of the two behind him, so he's having to really hold it together defensively. But out in front, the news is all Jamie Dyke. Josh McLaughlin now, under pressure from David Kirby. The Fishies entry is just causing havoc tonight. They're absolutely pushing everyone. A big moment there. Is that going to be enough for Kirby to get the run out of the corner? He's definitely got the pace down the straight. Shuts the door on him. Kirby goes to the inside into turn one. Kirby's late on the brakes, sends it through.
And gotta make it stick, but mate, he does. Wow,
beautiful move from David Kirby.
That's not easy to do. It looks textbook, doesn't it, up here when we're looking at these camera angles? But timing it perfectly. If you're braking, your acceleration. And on tyres, you can see, look at the power slide coming into the corner a little bit. He had to downshift there and get on the power a little bit later, and then bingo. So that is brilliant driving there from Mr. David Derby. Hats off for the 307 in P11.
Up out in front, and Blake Delaney's starting to watch the mirrors a bit. Ty Delaney has closed right up on him. So the two Delaney's stuck in it. Jamie Dyke will be appreciating the moment.
When's the call, but you're running out of time, isn't it? 4 laps or give or take. Now 3 laps to go. It's the call here, Fishy Motorsports. Father and son, move over, Pops. I'm quicker than you. Well, Pops is like, give me one more shot, son, because I reckon I got it. I mean, that's going to be difficult, isn't it, there in the Delaney household?
I don't think you'll find any love lost, any quarter given here. These guys all race hard, they all race to win, and no one's interested in just handing over spots. It's a competitive bunch. They race on the same team, they share setups, they share lines, they train together, but when it comes to race day, everyone's out there to get the most points they can for themselves, and it makes for some fantastic
you got to say
racing
this
through.
right now there, Jared. What happens when your son starts battling with you on track and stuff like that as well, too?
Mate, if he's better than
I want
me,
to hear
he'll
the
go
same
past
thing.
me. Simple as that.
Oh, no, but he has to overtake you on track legitimately, right? No lifting,
of
no
course.
family.
No.
No family
None of
favors
that.
here. You got to earn your keep on track.
Absolutely. And, we're not racing for big dollars at the end of the season or anything here. It's absolutely just
This is
pride
family
on the line,
pride, mate.
so
This is worth more than money.
no one wants it
Any day of
handed
the
to
week.
them. Henry King now, the only one threatening Josh Beno, as Garriosh has run off track just a few moments ago, and that's taken him out of this contest, but they continue to battle on. I have no idea how Josh Beno's managed to hold this together, and big touch there. Henry King makes contact. I hate to say it, but I think the stewards will be onto that one.
They will for sure. That's a little bit unforward because Joshua has also been in the fence a couple of times there for the FCR Sim Sports. And I think he's just had some of those times where he's been nudged around a couple of times. We'll see. I don't think Ty's doing anything about the old boy, Blake, up the road, mate. Not yet. Blake's still keeping Jamie in bay here, so it's not just really running away with this one for the 84 just yet, because, there's a good chance that the Ford's going to blow up and both Blake and Ty can just do this one
right
away.
Along from your regular disparaging of the Mustangs, I think at this point, Ty Delaney's probably not seeing the value in pushing too much harder. When you think about his championship, he's got some good points under his belt already. The difference from first to third isn't huge, but he's got a lot to lose if he does take himself out here. So I think, at this stage...
And the old man at the same time, mate. So,
at this stage, you've just got to settle in. And if
you wouldn't want to be the fly on the wall there in the fishy motorsports caravan later on, isn't it? Well, I mean, the motorsports van. Motorsports home is what I was looking for.
Look, I don't think there'll be too much going on there. I think, if Blake makes a mistake here, Ty will gladly take the position. But otherwise, I suspect Ty's pretty comfy to just ride it out. Just a couple laps to go here. Lap 49 and 50, so we're almost there. And barring a significant error from any of these drivers, it's going to be a fishy 1, 2, 3 at this stage. And it's going to take an awful lot for that to be broken. The closest to the Aaron Gilbert
you're
team
fishing for a little drama, aren't you, for the commentating like that?
No,
I know this, Jared. Jared's he's throwing his reel out there going, come on, I could snatch something happening here at the moment. What's it going to be?
Look, it's happened before, and I sincerely hope it doesn't happen here because these guys have driven a fantastic race. It's been a long one, 50 laps. But another penalty off.
There it is.
I'll have to check. 10-second
That's
time
a 10
penalty.
second. Yep.
10-second time penalty there for car number 52, Henry King.
That's what you called before, and I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I agree for race control messages all night long, but they've dished out to everybody as Jamie Dyke might be dishing out a race win at the moment because it's on the penultimate lap, penultimate corner, actually. Get the job done, Jamie.
One lap to go. About to enter the last lap here, so there's the white flag. And around we go for the last time. Fishy Motorsports 1, 2, and 3. 1 lap left here at Winton for round number 2 of the MCV8 Championship. And this season off to a fantastic start. Some great racing in really testing conditions tonight. Honestly, these drivers have done an amazing job to bring it home the way they have. And the battles still go on. Back here for 7th. Wilson just holding off Bradbury and Coleman. Anything can happen. As we see, the gaps just starting to even up a little bit here. Blake is winding, he's just reeling Dyke in, but it's not going to be enough at this stage.
He's flashed his lights, mate. Blake has flashed his lights, and that is like a bow down to you and say, mate, I think you got me. Because you wouldn't be flashing your little headlights there at the moment there and kind of conceding anything at the moment. I think at this point it's like, yeah, you got me. He realised that last couple of corners here, it's a $1 short if you're going to do anything. And Wise old Blake, I don't think he's going to do anything about that, Jamie. See, there he is, just flashing in respect
I
there.
mean, look,
Jamie Dyke will
it could be that. He could be trying to put him off in these last couple of turns, just looking for anything to get him past Jamie Dyke. But
you're right, Hollywood script now, mate.
Look, it's been known to happen. As the three come around the last corner for the final time here tonight, a solid race win for Jamie Dyke under huge pressure from both the Delaney's all the way through. And that's a Fishy Motorsports 1-2-3 to finish off race number 2. Absolutely stellar drive from all three. And Jamie Dyke, how he's managed to hang on to that, I have no idea.
Yeah, 11 seconds down the road there for Aaron Gilbert there. Then we're still waiting for a few drivers.
Corner.
Danny P, where is the Danny P supporters at? That's number 70 machine, 3 positions down on this one. But we'll finish at P6, get some crucial points. The rest of them off, flogging their way across the racing line right now, mate, because it's the endurance race. That's been done and dusted here for the second race of the season here at the MC Motorsports V8.
Last of the battles going on here. Josh Benno, a stellar drive to hold off the opposition, and Henry King will have a time penalty that'll bring him back from there. Josh Benno just getting a little bit loose around that final corner. Alex Wilson, unfortunately, not able to capitalise at the last minute. So they'll cross the line in the order that you see there on your screen. In the end, just shy of 2/10 gap. So a couple of close battles winding up in amongst all of that. But Jamie Dyke just on a slow drive around, celebrating there. And we did see, I'm not sure who it was, I didn't quite catch him on the way past, but there were some burnouts going on the Winton burnout pad. I'm hoping Jamie Dyke's on his way to do exactly the same.
He is around the track there, picking up. This is when you can pick up all the marbles you want there, mate, and get all the sticky stuff on the tyres there, because it'll help you burnouts as you're going to chew through those tyres. Non-refundable there, Mr. Jamie Dyke. You do not have to bring them back to race engineering for scrutineering. Just shoot through them there, because you well deserved it there for the 8 positions game for the number 80 machine, and there's nothing fishy about Jamie Dyke getting a race win for future race.
No, absolutely not. As we see Fishy Motorsports going 1-2-3, Dyke, Delaney and Delaney. A stellar result for them. And then Team Jinx, Aaron Gilbert coming in 4th ahead of another Fishy entry, Troy Maguire, ahead of Danny P and Thomas Wilson, then Bradbury and Coleman, with Jeremy Washington rounding out the top 10. Huge performance throughout the night from all of the Fishy Motorsports entries. David Kirby back there in 11th as well. Reese Wakefield from Antic Motorsports picking up 12th ahead of Josh McLaughlin. And Dean Power, Luke Newing ahead of Henry King. Joshua Benno holds on to 17th with Alex Wilson in 18th. These results, of course, all provisional ahead of the post-race penalties as well. So still plenty to watch for there as we wait on Jamie Dyke making his way up. Now that's Nathan
This is
Bowman,
Big Road.
just running it into the pit sheds there for whatever reason. But look, a huge finish. Just battles happening right through the field all night, and
He's parked it in the shed, mate. Done and dusted.
Yeah, look, you've got to park it up at the end of the night.
He's probably
don't you?
exhausted, mate. 2 back-to-back long races here. Jamie Dyke. He's probably wanting to get there and celebrate with his team to bring that 80 machine across and get the job done for the
I
feature
imagine
race.
so. Yeah, big race tonight, and the Fishy Motorsports entries just all over the grid. You couldn't look anywhere without seeing one of them, could you, tonight?
You could look away and you could not subscribe.
That's
and miss the
that's
action
about your
too.
only option, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're almost cracking the century mark, so we do appreciate this kit. Hopefully, see if it even tonight. If not,
start with P3. Ty Delaney back in the booth with us. Ty, that was a fantastic recovery from a really unfortunate start there for you in race 2.
Yeah, it was. I was quite annoyed actually. End of lap 1, I think I was 25th or something, somewhere around those lines.
23rd, I think it was at the end of lap 1.
Yeah, I was quite annoyed about that, but tried to keep a cool head during the whole race. With these boys, because I know it's never over till the end. So tried to keep the car clean, and throughout the race I picked up a lot of incident points, and I think it was the last 25 laps I was on 16 out of 17 points.
Oh.
So I didn't want to attack any of the boys in front of me at the end, in case of a incident point or accidental mistake.
So that explains the drive we saw. Pickles and I were just debating back and forth as to what was going through your mind at the end there, whether to attack or whether to just sit in and make it home in one piece. I think that that pretty well answers this for us. You were looking down the barrel of a drive-through there.
Oh yeah, definitely. I felt like I could have attacked, maybe gone for the win, attacked the boys in front, probably attacked for the win, but unfortunately I just wasn't able to with the amount of incidents I had. A lot of 4Xs. I think I had 12 off of the first lap, so that didn't help, and then I got another 4X from a couple other people, and then yeah, that led me to a safe drive home.
Superb drive, Ty. We watched you come from basically the back of the field there. Outstanding result in race 2 and some great championship points for you out of the evening. Congratulations on somehow salvaging a P3 out of all of that tonight. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ty Delaney there picking up P3, and I think it's only fair for us to bring Dad in for a chat. Blake Delaney joins us for the first time in the commentary booth. How are you tonight, Blake?
Yeah, I'm awesome. How are you, mate?
Mate, doing well. That was a battle that just seemed to go on all night tonight with you and Jamie Dyke. How are you feeling after that one? A little bit sweaty?
A little bit sweaty, yeah. We had a bit of fun though. It's always good fun to run Jamie Dyke. Just ask him if he's hard done by when he comes in, will you?
Oh, we'll make sure.
Running joke. Just say that. Blake said, do you feel a little bit hard done by, or you feel good?
Mate, it was a fantastic battle to watch, back and forth a few times in there. Did you think you might have had him at any point there, or was too close to call from your end as well?
Oh, look, I just said to him before, if probably it wasn't a teammate, there was a few times when I would have just fired it down, but you just got to be careful, and you don't want to take someone out that's running in your team. Jamie and I have had awesome battles over the years. We're always really, really respectful. Close racing, but
number 2 driver, mate. Come on, when you could have been the number 1, you step up. Give a little bit of a door nudge there. Remind Jamie that you were the better driver.
I think he was reminded of that last night. Don't worry. We have a heap of fun, mate. It's not about that. We genuinely have a ball. If you have a listen to Discord, you'd be pissing yourself laughing all night. Go and have a listen to David Kirby's stream, and you know what I'm talking about.
We'll go and we'll have another look at that one afterwards. Absolutely. Yeah. Like we asked Ty in race 1 how he managed to hold it together. The conditions maybe just a little bit nicer on the tyres, slight drop in track temp with the cloud cover. How'd you find it compared to race 1? Was it a little bit more manageable?
I thought the tyres dropped off a little bit more in race 2. I saved fuel at the start, so it made it really easy to keep the tyres under me, just so I could clear Jamie on the exit of the pit stop, but I made a mistake and let him pass, so was what it was. But yeah, no, the tyres were a heap harder to hold together in race 1. It was a lot hotter, like you say, but I struggled a bit more in race 2.
Oh, there you go. So a little bit different from end to end, but mate, for someone struggling more in race 2, a fantastic result. Got to be happy with P2. Well done, and welcome to the podium for the first time in the MCV8 series.
Yeah, cheers. Good to be here. Good new series starting up. I have no idea of the history of the series, but we heard about it at the start of the year. Thought we'd throw the fishy flag in there, and I think there's a few fishy cars on the grid. Make for good viewing on the TV, I'm sure. Just one livery.
Plenty of them are looking absolutely fantastic, and I think you'll see a few of them if you do watch the replay back, Blake. It's
yeah, for sure.
It's been an absolute night of fishy motorsports madness here at Winton. We'll let you go and catch up with Ty. Congratulations again on P2 here in race number 2 tonight.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Have an awesome night.
Pleasure. Blake Delaney taking out P2 there, but the winner eventually, somehow, Jamie Dyke making his way out in front and bringing home the win in race 2. Jamie, welcome back to the booth, mate.
How are we, boys?
Look, we are probably in better shape than you right now. We've been sitting back and watching that battle go on. You've been in amongst it. Blake just, yeah, look, I don't know. He almost had you there for a while. You managed to hang in though.
Yeah, he definitely had the pace. I just managed to capitalise on the one lap that he made a few mistakes, and yeah, if he didn't make those mistakes, I reckon he would have had it. He was very quick.
Well, look, it's good to hear that. And Blake mentioned he might be feeling a little bit hard done by, but in the end, not too bad all in all. Getting home with half a second over him. We did have a chat to Ty after race one. He reckoned the tyres just really gave up quickly race one. Blake said he struggled more race two. What was your take on it? Some really hot conditions, really, really punishing for the cars. How did you manage to hold it all together tonight?
I don't feel like I held it together. The tyres did drop off a lot. Blake had the advantage of fuel saving late in the second race, fuel saving hard in the first stint, and saving the tyres, and then him coming out ahead of me after the stop, he was able to just manage the tyres, because it's very hard to pass here.
Not a lot of opportunities, that's for sure.
And then I felt like I was doing really well when there was no one behind me. But like when I got ahead and I pulled like a second and a half on Blake, I felt really comfortable. But the moment he was under my rear wing, I really struggled.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on him. We saw it applied again and again, giving you absolutely no quarter there. So good to see that even amongst the team, you guys definitely keep the racing very, very hard right to the end. In the end, a fantastic result though, Fishy 1, 2 and 3, and also picking up a 5th place with Troy Maguire not far behind at all. Mate, we asked Ty, he didn't give away any secret sauce on the setups, but is there something just a bit different in the setup for Fishy tonight, do you reckon? Or is it just by sheer force, so many Fishy Motorsports entries in the race tonight? Is that part of the outcome with Fishy just dominating the front end of the grid?
No, to be honest, we jumped on last night and did quite a few hours of practice in the hot temperatures, and figuring out a way to drive the car and try not to use the tyres, and we ended up going pretty well, pretty quickly. I think everyone shaved a second off our previous best.
Huge.
So yeah, it was just a team practice session. Now I actually had open, so there was a few of the Frog Leap boys and a few of the other boys in here tonight jumped in.
There you go. No substitute for laps in the seat by the sound of things. Jamie Dyke, a fantastic win in race 2 for you. Great championship points once again. And good night out on the track considering the conditions. Well done, and we'll let you go and celebrate with the rest of the team, eh?
Thanks, boys. Have a good one.
It was a pleasure. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie Dyke joining us in the booth there. Winner of race 2 tonight, and Biggles certainly wasn't without a little bit of excitement and a bit of mayhem there right throughout, was it?
Bit of drama, bit of excitement. That's what it's all about here at the MC Motorsports here for the MCV8 Supercars Series, the gold split. I can imagine what's going to happen in the silver split.
Oh,
We'll be tuning in for, of course, that we'll be broadcasting, and we can't be in 2 places at once. But I certainly can't wait to see how it's going to pan out for those gladiators, of course, and these whether they're going to have similar conditions or not too, because we had that, didn't we, in the first race with the win.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what iRacing has served up in terms of track conditions. Really, 2 weeks in a row, honestly. Absolutely punishing gold split with some really, really tough weather. We saw huge wins at Phillip Island in the top split last week. This time around, really, really high temperatures. I mean, this is racing at its best in Australia, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's good to see everybody here at the glorified clothesline, as Dick Johnson would say. Well,
absolutely.
Running around the clothesline. Jared.
Great result from Fishies for the night. That is round 2 done and dusted here at Winton Motor Raceway for the MCV8 series. Once again brought to you by Simple Racing Broadcast Beagles. It's been a pleasure to have you along again this evening.
Cheers, sir.
And from everyone here, do stay safe, look after each other. We will see you back again for more racing. Don't forget, of course, tomorrow night, check out the link below. We've got more racing to come, and the Silver Split yet to be brought to your screen, so keep an eye out for that. Until next time, though, do look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe, and we will see you again very, very soon. Goodbye for now.